my world. Khemetic is my world. Khemetic is my world. Khemetic is my world. Khemetic is my world. When will we go back to victory? We must learn history. Greetings to everyone. Peace. Hete pu, duwa, duwau, panatar pu, pamaat, ankwaz dejed, ank uja seneb, ubenefer iker, panebu, haru, ma'ati. I am here this evening with my Sba-t, Seeker Asar. I am also here with Kepra Ptah. And today we are bringing you some updates and current events for the Naga ship. We also have a brief Q&A we will have with the audience, and I will be sharing some questions that the audience members would like for Sba-t, Seeker Asar to address. And then after we perform our Hesses, of course, and then we will hear from Sba-t, Seeker Asar about an upcoming event for November, and we will hear more from Kepra Ptah for events and things to look out for within the Naga Ship Association that we will be bringing to you soon. So at this time, I would like for Sba-t, Seeker Asar to address you all, tell you all who he is and where you can find him. Dua Siba.
Dua Wanata Apupamaat, Onkwas de Jet, Onkuja Seneb, Ubenepike Panebu Maati, to you my Sibas and Sibats, Anuk Ptah Seeker Asar. I am Ptah Seeker Asar. I am the Royal Scribe, Master Craftsman, and Keeper of Time, Batesha Parab, and one of the Chief Executive Officers of the Naga Ship Association of Cosmic Awareness, Spiritual Consciousness, and Universal Enlightenment. I'd first like to say that we are dedicating this show to our great Sba, our great transition Sba, Helical, the High Priest, the Hemtepi, the High Priest of the White and Gold Lotus Temple, Shrine of Amen-Ra in Stone Mountain, Georgia, and his Hemet, his Queen Mother Goddess, his Mutnatat, As, Mary Amen. We want to show our praises to our honor to our great transition Sba. He's dedicated his whole life to bringing forth our spirituality and uplifting us from these invisible chains and shackles of injured humanity. So we will dedicate this show again, as we always do, to our great Sba, our great Hemtepi, our great transition Sba, Helical. And we also on the show, we have his number one elder student, his elder Sba. His name is Kepra Ptah. He will be joining us this evening. And so let me just say to everybody, please like, share, and subscribe. Don't forget to hit up the Queen Mother Goddess's CashApp as we begin this episode number 10 of The Precious Treasure, a continuous series of your divine birthright of immortality. I would first like, before I perform my Hesse, I'd like to call upon the ancestors, the ancient ones, and the Patnatarus. So I shall first ask upon the great Queen Mother Goddess, Queen of Four, for permission to speak. I shall ask upon the great Queen Mother Goddess, Seshat Maat Mary Amen, for permission to speak. The Queen Mother Nateri Nelson for permission to speak. The great Queen Mother Seshet Maat Heraru, Dr. A, Dr. Akasika for permission to speak. The Queen Mother Goddess Nateri Renunet Nelson for permission to speak. And to all the great Queen Mother Goddess for permission to speak, so that I may address the ancestors, the ancient ones, and the Patnatarus. I shall now call upon the great Elder Sba, our great Elder Sba, Dr. Professor Leonard Jeffries for permission to speak. Our great Divine Sba, Suni Valentine for permission to speak. Our great Elder Kaba Kamini for permission to speak. And our great Divine Elder Samaj Ptah for permission to speak. And also, I shall ask for Mefundishi for permission to speak, to Sba, Mefundishi Jehuti Mes. And also, I will call upon my good friend and great Sba, Reggie Mabry, for permission to speak. I I shall now perform my Hesi, my Saku, my affirmation to command the cosmic forces that allow us love, guidance, and protection through the daily experiences of pondable matter. I shall perform my Hesi, my Saku, my affirmation so that I may adjust these cosmic forces and may my words be Macharu, splendor to their ears. Hete poo, dua, dua, dua-oo, dua-oo. Anazarek, Ramech, Hotep. Greetings and divine greatness, divine excellence to the first families of the New Age Order. My Nagas, my Shemsurus, my Nasubitis, my Hemets, my Sba-t, Mutatat, the immortal ones of Maat, cherished. Phenomenon of precession, New Age Order, the Great Golden Age, Maat, Asar, and all citizens, descendants of the Nile Valley Cultural Cosmic Collective Consciousness Spirituality. O Ra Nebuchadnezzar, divine creator, the he, the she, the mother and father of all existence, divine creator of light and radiation, of heat and movement. Bless us humble servants for Ankh, life, being, now present, for we seek the counsel of the ancient ones and practice daily the ancient Maatian ways and ancient Maatian truths. We strive evermore to become one with thee in this world and in the existence to come. We ask that you bless us on this, the 77th, the 97th day of the year after the Helical rising. 263 days remaining until Ubin Cyrus rising. Upuat, Smatawi, Wetren Pet Digit Heb, New Year's celebration. The 25th day of the third month of Sobek. The third day of Twamutef. The 7th day of the fourth month of the first season of Shemu, year number 10, AFNK/ST. After the founding of New Kemet, Naga Kemet, Samatawi, Phenomenon of Precession, New Age Order, Great Golden Age, Amada Asar. We ask that you bless our families and friends and all those of us who gather together to worship in your most holy, sacred, and glorious ancient Tamarian name of Ra Nebuchadnezzar, for in the act of seeking you there is much comfort. So as it is spoken, so let it be written, so let it be done, so shall it be, for now and forever forward. Ra Nebuchadnezzar, Panata Apupamaat, Ankwas Dejet, Ankuja Seneb, Uben Nefikir Paneburu Maati, rising always in divine excellence with Maat, every day, all day. Dua, dua, dua.
Dua, Duawu Siba Ptah Secret Star. Your words are Macharu, true of voice. You are victorious and righteously great. You have commanded the cosmic forces that allows us, you, love, guidance, and protection through the daily experiences of ponderable matter. Your libation, Hesi, Saku affirmation is splendor to the ears of the ancient ones, the Puat Netcharus, and the ancestors. Dua, Duawu Siba.
Dua, dua.
And at this time, I would ask Siba Ptah Secret Star to call upon me so that I may perform my Hesi. Dua, Duawu Siba.
Yes. Dua, Duawu, Panata, Apupamaat. I shall now call upon our great Queen Mother Goddess, our most revered and honorable Queen Mother Goddess, Asma-at Tefnut, to perform her Hesi, her Saku, her affirmation, so she may command the cosmic forces that allow us, you, they, love, guidance, and protection through the daily experiences of ponderable matter, so you may address the ancient ones, the ancestors, and the Patnatarus, and that your words may be true of voice and splendor to their ears. We call upon your Queen Mother Goddess to perform your Hesi. Dua, dua,
Dua, Duawu Siba. Hete pu. Dua, Duawu. Anazarek Ramech. Hotep. Greetings and divine greatness, divine excellence to the first families, and to all of you for joining us here today on the Precious Treasure Immortality series, segment number 10. To my Nagas, Shemsuhurus, Nesubitis, Mutnatar, Sba-t, and Hemets, the immortal ones of Ma'at cherished, of the phenomenon of precession, New Age Order, Great Golden Age of Ma'at Hapi Asar, and to all citizens, descendants of the Nile Valley Cultural Cosmic Collective Consciousness Spirituality. O Ra Nebuchadnezzar, the she and he, the mother and father, excuse me, of all existence. Excuse me. O Ra Nebuchadnezzar, the she and he, the mother and father of all existence. the master and possessor of light and radiation, of heat and movement. We ask that you bless us humble servants for Ankh life being now present. For we seek the counsel of the ancient ones and practice daily the ancient Maatian ways and ancient Maatian truths. We strive evermore to become one with thee in this world and in the existence to come. We ask that you bless us on this, the 97th Haru after the Helical Rising, 263 Haru remaining until Ubin Sapit Cyrus Rising, Upuat Samai Tawi, Wetbrin Pet Digit Heb, the 25th Haru, the 3rd Abet of Sobek, the 3rd Haru of Twamutef, the 7th Haru, 4th Abet, 1st season of Shemu, Rinpet year number 10, AFNK/ST, after founding of New Kemet, Naga Kemet, Samai Tawi, Wep Rinpet Digit Heb, phenomenon of precession, New Age order, great golden age of Maat Hapi Asar. We ask that you bless our families and friends and all those of us who gather together to worship in your most holy, sacred, and glorious ancient Tamarian name of Ra Neber Teshurah. For in the arts of seeking you, there is much comfort. So as it is spoken, so shall it be written, so let it be done, so shall it be. For now and forever forward, Ra Neber Teshurah, Panatarapu, Pama Adank was Gajedank Ujastaneb, Ubenefer Iker, Panebu, Haru, Ma'ati, rising always in divine excellence with Ma'at every day, all day. Dua, Dua'u.
Dua, Duau, Banata, Pamaran, Queste, Jeron, Kujas, Moving every year, Ati, to you, my great Queen Mother Goddess, Asma Tepnu, your words are my Cheru, you are true of voice, you are victorious and righteously great, you have performed your Hesi, your Saku, your affirmation, you have commanded the cosmic forces that allow us, you, they, love, guidance, protection through the daily experiences upon what matter. You have presented yourself before the ancient ones, the ancestors, and the Patnatarus, and your voice is true of voice. You are true of voice, and you are victorious and righteously great, and your words are splendid to their ears, and we say unto you, Queen Mother, Dua, Dua, Dua.
Dua, Dua'u Siba. And at this time, I call upon Seba, Kepra Ptah, to perform his Hesi, so that his words are found to be true of voice, Macharu, and splendor to the ears of the ancient ones, the Puat Netcharus, and the ancestors. Dua, Dua'u Siba, Kepra Ptah. I cannot hear you, Seba.
Your microphone is off, Siba. Okay. Still can't hear you. No, we can't hear you, Siba. Okay, we're gonna have to keep working on it. We'll get back to him. We'll get back to the Siba. Kevin
Okay.
Patel.
So now we're going to address those here in the audience with us. We have our brother Seba D. Calico speaking greetings from YouTube.
Dua,
Dua.
Dua, Calico. Dua, Dua, Siba.
We have Heruka Okofo from from YouTube speaking Hetepu. Hetepu.
Kufu, Kufu. Dua, Dua, Siba.
And we have Anuk Haru Keshnaga from Facebook speaking Dua, Siba, Sibat, Ankh Uja, Seneb. Dua, Dua.
Anukeru, Kashnaga. Ush, Ush.
And Hamet Leslie from YouTube, here as always, she speaks peace to the family. Dua, Dua'u Hamet. And Hamet is queen.
Dua, Queen Mother Goddess. Mutnatat. Mutnatat means a queen, means a mother goddess. We call them Queen Mother Goddesses. Dua,
Queen Goddess.
our Queen Mother Goddess. Dua, Dua.
And Quantaria Hughes from YouTube speaks peace family. Love you all. Dua, Dua'u.
Dua, Panatapupama. We call that Nebu Mer. Nebu Nefer. Divine love. Nebu Mer.
Nefer.
Love for you, baby. Nothing but love for you, baby. Dua, Dua.
And Seba L. Moore from Facebook speaks peace to the fam. Dua, Sba.
Dua, Sba Elmore. Dua.
And I'm glad you're here today. We have a shared platform, so
Yes.
appreciations to Sba Elmore.
Praises.
And we have Sba Kwame Amen Minra Kimbro from Facebook speaking Dua, Duau to all of us. Dua, Duau to you as well. Sba Kwame.
Amen. Kemra. Menra. Kembro. Panatapu Pamaron Costejeron Kujas and Nebubina Pike Panaburuma Ati to you, my great Siva. Kwame. Dua. How you doing, Kepra Ptah? No sound there? Have you worked out the kicks yet?
He just left out.
Let me go out and come back in, yes.
Yeah. Okay, so what I'm gonna do right now is I have gathered some questions from people inboxing me and different conversations on Facebook and the YouTube platform. So see, but we have 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 questions, 6 conversations. First one, what is the cosmic egg?
What is the cosmic egg? The cosmic egg scientifically, so when you get these explanations here on the precious treasure with Queen Mother Goddess Asma Tepnut and Ptah Sikasar, you also learn primordial temple discipline, where you be able to equate our sacred science, our divine math, and our cultural cosmic collective conscious spirituality. We will be triangulating all day long in order to place the emphasis in the magnification and manifestation of the frequency. This is first frequency, specifically Ra Nebuchadnezzar. What is the cosmic egg? Ra Nebuchadnezzar is what the cosmic egg is with your cultural cosmic collective conscious spirituality. So when you give praises to Ra Nebuchadnezzar. And then what is the cosmic egg scientifically? The cosmic egg is an egg shaped anomaly that exists within the center of the universe. And to find this out for you scholars who want to do your due diligence, just Google CBR, cosmic background radiation, or cosmic background microwave radiation. The cosmic egg is an egg-shaped anomaly that is found in the center of the universe, and because of its red and blue heat signature, they know it to be the molecular appearance from the source of all creation, or the source of subatomic space. So, what is the cosmic egg in mathematics? The cosmic egg in mathematics is the primeval mound. And the primeval mound is manifested within Ra Nebuchadnezzar, because Ra Nebuchadnezzar has 4 attributes of manifestation, which is Temu, which means in Medunetta to think, thought, it means to plan, it's equated to mentalism, and we triangulate that with correspondence to the first primordial field force. So we relate our science with our math always. There is no science without mathematics. There is no mathematics without science. And you must have your cultural, cosmic, collective, conscious spirituality to equate it all within the all of all. Then we add astrology and astronomy. And we add our medunetta for the resonance and the sound. And this gives us absolute accountability and star validation. This is primordial temple discipline, first frequency, specifically Ra Nebuchadnezzar. And in this manner, you'll be able to equate it all within the all of all. Because all I'm here to do, and the Queen Mother to do, is to help you remember. Everything you're asking me right now, you already know. It's in your DNA. You just don't remember. You are suffering from a bad case of memory loss. You are suffering from PTSS, post-traumatic slave syndrome. You're suffering from generational trauma. So we're here to bring back that by resurrecting and awakening your pineal gland, your chakras, by introducing to you the cosmic thought, the cosmic revelation, the new age order star gospel of self-creation of Ra Nebuchadnezzar. Okay, it was another question. I started making up questions myself. Go ahead, Queen Mother.
Next question. If I wanted to teach our people the truth about who we truly are, where can I start, especially with the youth?
First place you got to start is where no one else has ever started. Take down the Gregorian calendar from your wall. This is how they've been imprisoning us with our mental, physical, spiritual subjugation. They incarcerated our brain from the moment you woke up this morning. How can you wake up? How can you be the true monarchs of this planet, the true inheritors of this planet, who ruled this planet for millions and millions of years, and you waking up and don't even know who you are? What is it? What is the tool? What is the mechanic? What is the design that they use to steal, to rob you of your divine birthright of immortality? No one seems to be able to answer this question. But you need, it's very simple. All you gotta do is remember what you did when you woke up this morning. What did I do this morning that I did yesterday morning that I did not? I don't mean wake up and feed the babies and brush your teeth. What is the thing you did? You know what you did. You looked at that wall. And on that wall was that Gregorian calendar, because you know you got to know what day it is. And then you looked at your watch. You got hooked on GMT, UTC, Universal Time Coordinated, Greenwich Mean Time, GMT, Greenwich Mean Time, UTC, Universal Time Coordinated. That's Stonehenge, England. Our colonizers moved the center of the planet to Stonehenge, England, which is 52 parallels north of the equator. It doesn't make sense. They got you so bamboozled, you're not even questioning the question. So the reason, well, where you can start at is you start here. You go over to your wall, go in your kitchen, go in your workroom, take down that Gregorian calendar from your wall. That is instant mental, physical, spiritual, subjugated slavery. Then they get you with your watch. Take your watch off your arm. Because now they got you stuck on GMT and UTC. They don't even use that. Nobody uses GMT and UTC but enslaved people. NASA and the government use ZT. They use Zulu time. And because they want to know about the phenomenon of precession. This is what it's all about. Knowing how to calculate cosmically the phenomenon of precession, which we're going to discuss. But before the Romans and the Greeks, there were 9 days in every week. And time was kept by charting stars that were visible on our calendar, aware of the movement of the earth, stars, and moon. These ancient African indigenous primordial ancestral peoples were cosmically attuned. Take down the calendar from your wall, pick up the 2020-2021 Crumb TV edition. I give a shout out to my brother Crumb TV. Neferu Heru. Happy born day and solar return. Solar return to you, Crumb TV. My brother Crumb, you are doing great work, and we honor you with the 2020-2021 Crumb TV edition, which is Renpet year number 10. This is year number 10 of the New Age Order, Great Golden Age of Maat. We will break down how it is that it is, we're going to teach you how to tell time, cosmic time, just through the cosmic forces that allow you love, guidance, and protection through the daily experiences of ponderable matter. Ponderable matter. When you go outside, you look outside, and you see nature, that's ponderable matter. You have to be able to equate this scientifically, mathematically, and with your cultural, cosmic, collective conscious spirituality. I didn't mean to be long-winded on that second question, but you could continue, please.
Yes, Sba. Let's see. Next question. What can we do to take our power back?
First thing you do to take your power back, cancel. Dua. First thing you have to do to take your power back is to comprehend the first three lines of cosmic defense. If you do not perform this primordial temple discipline every day, you have to recalibrate yourself to the cosmic forces, because the sun is never in the same place twice. Every day the earth is moving. Every day the earth rotates on its axis, movement number 1. It revolves around the sun, movement number 2. And movement number 3 is the earth is tilted 23.5 degrees from vertical, which makes it wobble. And one complete wobble is the phenomenon of precession. And you must understand the concept of the phenomenon of precession in order to connect you back to our story. Everything has to return to our story. Forget about history or his story. His story has nothing to do with our story. His story is designed specifically to bring about your mental, physical, and spiritual subjugation, to place you as injured humanity, to bring about your demise in an untimely manner. He knows exactly when you're going to transition, because you've eaten his food. He knows that you're eating his food. He's got you accumulating all these diseases, all these ailments. They know exactly what. You stop eating this food. What was the question again, Queen Mother? Because I know I'm on the right track.
Says, what can we do to take our power back?
Right, the three lines of defense. First line of defense is you have to perform your hesi, your saku, your affirmation, which me and the Queen Mother has already done. The first thing we have to do before we address you, we have to address the ancestors. We have to tell you where that star, Subtit, and Ra is at this particular, this present time in time and space. This is how you speak to the ancestors. You just can't say ashe, ashe, pour out some water on some plant and say I asked the ancestors for permission to speak. Because I didn't hear one ancestor respond to you. And then you're going to tell me, oh, the guy in the audience is my ancestor. We're not going for that. That Hotep hustling game is done. This is a new age order. This is the great golden age of Maat. And in order for you to regain your rightful position, you have to perform your sacred rites of passage and tell us and tell the ancestors and tell the netarus, the nature, the elements, the netches. You have to communicate with these netches. I'm only here to help you remember. You should be feeling a little tingle behind the back of your head right there between your ears. That's your pineal gland. It's starting to excrete some fluids. And if you feel a little goosebumps on your back, that's the chakras starting to ignite. It's called enlightenment. We're here to give you your cosmic awareness, spiritual consciousness, and universal enlightenment. And then what you need to do is you must eat of the seed. After your first three lines of cosmic defense is your hesi, your saku, your affirmation. You already heard us perform out. Your second line of defense is you must follow the laws, the golden laws of the livet. We don't have a diet. You don't have a diet because in etymology, die is in the word. Why would you want to follow something with die? I'm not trying to die. We have a livet. And in the livet, the stomach is the key to salvation. The food you eat should be a mirrored reflection of the air you breathe. In with the good, out with the bad. There are 5 rules to the livet. The first rule is eat only of the seed. If it doesn't have a seed, don't put it in your mouth. The only thing you put in your mouth that doesn't have a seed is water, for the exception of your mother's breast. I had to remember that one because it was just something I said, it's not something I've been putting in my mouth. I put it in my mouth, it wasn't seed and water. It's your mother's breast, okay? When you're born, you feed from your mother's breast. So if it's not your mother's breast, then eat only of the seed. And when you eat of the seed, that means, so for rule number 1 is to eat only of the seed. If it doesn't have a seed, don't put it in your mouth. And if anything else you put in your mouth that doesn't have a seed is water, because you've already passed the breast milk stage. So let's not. I don't want to see you nibbling on mommy's breast right about now. So y'all take it easy, okay? And so rule number 2 is eat as the table earth prepares the food. Very simple. From the vine, from the tree, or from the ground.
At the same time.
Rule number 2 is never eat and drink at the same time, which means don't mix your solids with your liquids. Everybody is accustomed to just putting that food to your mouth, chewing, and then reaching for something glass, and you want to wash that food down. Them are European tactics. Them are European traditions. We do not mix our liquids with our solids. Because when you do scientifically, you create an acidy brew. You mix your solids with your liquids, and you create an acidy brew within your stomach, and it creates the bloating effect. This is why everybody got the neck's coming down here, they're blowing up sideways, got 3 tire irons on this way, 4 tire irons here, the hair is balding. You're falling apart, okay? But your best friend is pain. Don't get me wrong. I'm not here to entertain you. I'm not here to hold your hand. I'm not here to take your temperature. I'm here to give you back your divine birthright of immortality. So when you must practice these primordial temple discipline, you have to follow the rules. I have to follow the rules. Everybody has to follow these rules. I'm 66. I'm getting ready to hit 70. I plan on looking like this up until 100. I'm trying to bust me 200 years here. I don't know what you here do to play games. You trying to jump in the ditch. You want to go from street boxing to pine boxing, kickboxing to pine boxing. You're on your own. Follow these rules, these laws, and you will have longevity. Rule number 3 is eat as the table earth prepares the food. Very simple. From the tree, from the vine, or from the ground. It's only coming from three places. Unless UNICEF is dropping something off out the sky, I really ain't trying to eat nothing UNICEF's dropping down on me. Unless they're dropping some water, and you can believe it's dead water. You know it ain't got no alkaline in it. But anyways, rule number three is eat is to eat as the table earth prepares the food, which means through the netures, through the cosmic forces that allow you love, guidance, protection through the daily experiences of ponderable matter, which is nature. So it comes from the ground, from the tree, or from the vine. And rule number four is never, I mean never, eat to your fill. Do not glut yourself. Do not overeat. It is unma'atin of you. Don't eat everything in the room. Save something for somebody else. Never overeat or glut yourself, for it is unbecoming of an unma'atian. It is unma'atian. And rule number five is you have to fast occasionally. For certain periods of the year, you must fast to cleanse the body, to purify the body, to detox the body from the impurities in which you have contaminated the body with your bad eating. So if you do your freakies, now don't get me wrong, I did my freaky last night. I had my muffins and I had a piece of apple pie from the store. I ate my some things I do too. I'm not perfect. But if you follow these rules, I guarantee you, you will not be sick. Your children will not be sick. Don't give your children no milk. Do not feed them the milk. Don't feed them sugar. It brings blindness. You want to be blind like me? I've been eating sugar all my life. Fed me sugar. I can't see right now. I'm blind. Okay? Don't eat the sugar. Don't eat the milk. Stop drinking the coffee. You're drinking coffee, you might as well be smoking cigarettes. Where's the difference? You have to begin to understand the laws of the natures. So rule number five is to fast occasionally. What we do is during periods of the the Shabitem Tuaru Pamaat, the Ancient Rasaurian Khemetic Solar Calendar, we would fast during the solstices or the equinox or the aphelion, perihelion, especially during the solar eclipses and the full moons. So you should learn to regulate yourself upon this Ifetaru. Remember, before the Romans and the Greeks, there were 9 days in every week. And the third rule of defense is you must acquire the ability to experience the phenomenon of being. This is the cosmic thought. This is the cosmic revelation. This is the new age or the star gospel of the self-creation of Ra Nebuchadnezzar. This is your divine birthright. This is immortality. This is what you already have, and you're throwing it away. We're here to make sure that you know. And we want this to be given to all the children, especially to the Queen Mother Goddesses. And on my watch, I'm the keeper of time, Tep, of Tesha Parab, the new age, order of the great golden age, and Maat Asar. We just dawned upon this great golden age in the year of the Gregorian calendar equivalation of 2012. So we count from there, we count the 2000 to 2020, we come up with 10 years. Now, on the phenomenon of precession, it takes the sun 72 years to precess 1 degree. We're 10 years into the New Age order. That means there are 62 years left within the first degree of precess, of our sun precessing into this great age. So we're going to calibrate time here today, and we should. I think I'm going to initiate the New Age order calendar reform if Ptah's microphone doesn't start working. We're going to do that. But right now, that's my three answers to that question number 3.
Okay, Sba. Next question. What were their intentions of confusing us?
Their intention of confusing you was to exterminate you, was to place you, put a knee under your neck, and send you off to a Hellenistic oblivion. You become a small instrument under higher management, headed expeditiously to a Hellenistic oblivion. And what really happened, though, that went over your head. What really happened is you have been
Hellenized and bottomized.
Right. You have been Hellenized and lobotomized. But what happened was if you're a scholar, you're supposed to know this. All ecclesiastic people know this. All theologians know this. Okay, they know why you are in the position you are today, and they know why they must maintain the little kit that their forefathers left for them to keep you mental, physical, spiritual, subjugating slavery, and keep you in fear every day, to keep you in fear of your life. At all times, you're in fear of your life. And this is called injured humanity. You have been sentenced to injured humanity because they took us to court in 666 BCE. And this is when all the European nations were just were just gorging themselves upon Africa, but they was fighting each other. They was fighting each other after they ran Espalta, Pianki, Tahaka, Shabaka, and all the Kush kings back up into Nubia, into Nerde, Meroe, Kerma, and Napata. When they ran them all back up into when they ran them back down into upper Kemet in the Sudan, that's when they all just came in and they came in together this time. And they had the United Nations. And once they came in, they took us to court. But we wasn't even present. It was the first kangaroo court. We wasn't even present. And what they issued on us first was a decree in equity. It's called execution of judgment. Execution of judgment was that they decreed at the court, there will never be another global Naga presence upon this planet. And everybody said, yay! And then they found us guilty of being melanated. They found us guilty of being melanated. And they said, execution of sentence is injured humanity, mental, physical, spiritual, subjugated slavery, which means that they have the right for 4,000 years now, not 400 years. Forget that 400-year-old story. It's 4,000 years since the great golden age of Amen Ra or Aries ended with the first golden age of Amen Ra, the middle of the great golden age of Amen Ra transition. This is over 4,000 years ago. We became injured humanity, mental, physical, spiritual, subjugated slavery. And this means that, believe me, it's it's a decree in equity, which means that it's in the public domain. But you have to be a theologian. You have to be a theologian. A theologian is a study of soteriology. Soteriology means soter is Latin for savior. They took the doctrines, our doctrines. All they did was took our story and they fragmented it, they corrupted it, then they plagiarized it, then they regurgitated it back to you in an unholy manner and called it history. So they took your sugar, honey, ice, and tea, your Mielda, or your shizit, and they put more shit upon that shit and that shit upon that shit. So there was so much shit for you to dig through. By the time you got to your own shit, you say, whoa, that's enough shit. But they didn't understand and realize is that in our cultural, cosmic, collective conscious spirituality, we take the shit, which we call the doom, and the beetle takes the doom on the Serengeti and rolls it into a ball, and then places its germination inside of it, and then jumps on its hind legs and pushes the ball from east to west, like the sun traversing the sky. And when the beetle ends its journey, another life comes out of the doom. Because the beetle or Kepra is self-created. This is the concept of self-creation, which we're going to get into as we begin. I break down these conversations with a little humor and everything. But it's a little tense there. I want to get to, don't worry about it. It's okay. We're going to return you to your divine birthright. But to let you know, this is what it's all about. So what they did was, and in the process of you being into humanity, there is a law that says that they have the right, if they see any melanated person on this planet, 4,000 years ago, when the world was being Hellenized by Alexander, and the Hellenistic paradigm doctrines were engulfing this planet, they decreed equity that if they saw a melanated person anywhere, they had the right to the license, the right to condition you, to place you, to subjugate you, to place you in mental, physical, spiritual subjugation, and to harm, to castrate you, to burn you, to feast upon you, to hang you, your children, and your mother, and your daughters. Every day they inflict the fear of thousands and thousands of years upon you. This is what's going on today. So they have an unbridled license. Please Google the word Unbridled. 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 And watch when you put unbridled in, watch predictive text come up with license. They know what you're looking for. That's what a theologian does. You put in the right word, and the algorithm in the computer comes up with what you're looking for. Then they give you the answer because they know that they know black people looking for that word unbridled. I heard the word unbridled. I thought somebody was getting married. I thought somebody was putting something on a horse. I didn't know what it meant. I Googled it. Did you just Google it, anybody? It means that not even blue-eyed, blonde-haired Jesus come out the sky can save you from the wrath that I'm getting ready to put on your black ass. This is what it tells you right in the dictionary. Right in Google. It's going to tell you nothing can save me from putting you in your grave. We're going to send you from pine boxing, from kickboxing, to street boxing, to straight up pine boxing. Maggot food. This is why nobody gets prosecuted today when they kill a black person. Black lives don't matter because they made the law 4,000 years ago that it don't matter. So when the judge goes behind closed door, they say, Your Honor, the lawyer says, listen, Your Honor, hold up. Your Honor, do you forget about this decree of equity, Your Honor? That nigga's supposed to die. I put my knee on his neck because they said we could do this for 4,000 years. And the judge says, okay, you're right. Okay, well, we find the defendant, we acquit this defendant because there's not enough evidence. They got videotape of him putting his knee on his neck, shooting him in the head, hanging him. The guy's smiling while he's doing it, but they can't prosecute him because it's against their own law. Black people don't understand that. They have a law. It's called execution of judgment, execution of sentence. Okay, how about something for you so-called scholars? Let me give you this one. It's called the Casual Killing Act, 1669, Virginia. Google that. Casual Killing Act, 1619, New York City. This means that if a white person is walking by a melanated person, and that melanated person looks that white person in the eye, that white person has the right to condition you, to place you into subjugation, to put you under mental, physical, spiritual, subjugated pain, to condition you. And in the process of that conditioning, if you should meet your demise, I cannot be held responsible for it. And if in the process of this conditioning, my dog who is walking behind me, beside me, assists me in conditioning you, you cannot even prosecute my dog. Do you understand this, people? Just Google it. But how are we doing, Kepler Ptah? Have you got sound? Oh, he's still. Just watch here. Do. What's the next question, Queen Mother, before we throw it over to Ramutep and move this right along, because we want the people to get these questions in and ask what's going on in the chat room.
Yeah, and Kevin needs to unmute his mic. So next question goes, it was the last question I have for you, and you actually is in line with what you just spoke of. So the question is about injured humanity. So you covered that. And explain why we don't use the word black to describe who we are and or as a race, versus on a worldwide scale, when people of our skin tone and or type may come here and use that word black, and they don't quite comprehend why some of us don't acknowledge that word black. Yes. What's the harm in the word black?
Yes. First of all, Meduneta, Kemet means black land, black people, or black soil. Okay? Or black cattle. We could just kill that part of it right there. But anyways, in regards to us being called black, we were never called black. They use these words through etymology to Hellenize and lobotomize you to condition your mind. So once you understand the cosmic thought, the cosmic revelation, once you understand the star gospel of the self-creation of Ra, never to explain why we don't use, this is you. Okay. Oh, thank you. That keeps me focused there. Thank you. So why we don't use these words, because an etymology is designed for you to corrupt yourself. Like when you wake up in the morning, hello. You just hello. You're Hellenizing yourself. Or good morning. Your morning. Why are you morning? It's supposed to be a good morning, a good death, a good demise, a good transition. You have to check these words, these etymological words that you're using. and you must be to the transition to Medunetta. But anyways, we are not black people. There are only two types of people on this planet. You're either a Shemsu Heru. Shemsu means a child of or a follower of Heru. Or you're a Shemsu Set, a child of or a follower of Set. For those of you who are doing your studies, just Google ancient Egyptian Sunus or Katushas or Shreks, with the royalty wrote their names in. And you'll see the royalty wrote their name in what we call a Sunu, a Shenu. A Shenu is an oval object with a line at the bottom. And then before that, before Seneferu and pre-dynastic or primordial Kemet, they used a Shrek. There's an oblong shape, and on top of it was a Horus figure, and inside this oblong shape was the name or Ren. Ren is the mouth with the water sign, which the Ren is the name. And you spell it backwards, it's Nur, and that's energy. And inside this energy, and inside this name, was the symbol of Horus on top. So that meant that this Nesubiti, which is the name they use for Pharaoh, but we know that's not Pharaoh, because Pharaoh means Per-ah, and Per-ah means great house. How can you call a king a Pharaoh, and it doesn't even mean king or Nesubiti? But anyways, so there's more etymology. Everything you learn in your studies is always corrupted. You have to be able to know when to identify it and when to raise a flag and when to correct it. But anyways, so there are Shreks. Just Google ancient Egyptian Shreks. Serekh. Shreks. Okay, a Shrek. These are the most primordial objects in which the royalties wrote their names in. And above the oblong Shrek is either a Horus figure or a Sethian figure. And these are the beings who existed on this planet for millions and millions of years, the original ancestors who were born from the womb of Nut and begotten of Seb. They created the first 5 children on this planet, which we'll get into that mathematical equation once we begin to understand and go into the dialogue and narrative of your divine birthright of immortality. We're going to break the calendar down to its essence and how we get back to immortality. But because we are either a Shemsaru and Shemsu Set, and this is what we're getting ready to do right now. We're going to line this information so that we can see where the Shemsurus are and where the Shemsu Sets are. Because we have a lot of teachers in this community that we're about to address their crimes to the people, especially with this calendar. It's going to start with this calendar. They believe that there are not 9 days in a week. But we're going to break this down in a minute. I just want to answer these questions first before we go into the dialogue or the narrative or speak to the next Sibas. Dua Sba-t Natat Asma Tefnu.
Dua Siba. So at this time, I have one question left, and I think that it is for Seba Ramutep to address. Before we do that, I'm going to call upon Seba Kepra Ptah once again to perform his Hesi. Dua Seba.
Take your mic off. Unmute your mic.
He's good.
Okay, you're good. You're good.
Jarak Maran, the Terror Maran, Nukamara, the Jarak Maran, the Terror Maran, Nukamara, the Jarak Moot with the Terror Moot, the Jarak Moot with the Terror Moot, a Moot, the Jarak Kanzu with the Terror Kanzu, a new Kanzu, the Jarak Kanzu with the Terror Kanzu, a new Kanzu. Permission to do my Hesi? Hatapu, Dawu. I need Jarak Ramech, I am Hotep. Greetings, the divine greatness. Divine excellence to the first families of the New Age order. My Nagas, my Shimzu Harus, my Nesu Bitties, my Hemet Sabas and Sabats, Mutneturts, the immortal ones of Maat, cherished phenomenon procession, New Age order, great golden age of Maat Happy Asar, all citizens, descendants of the Nile Valley, cultural, cosmic, collective, consciousness, spirituality. O Asar Hutpaut Ntaru Nabu. The mother of the Neturu, the mistress of Pet, the maker of mankind. She who is mighty in words, Usur Metu Neferu Hakau, divine words of power, mother of all initiations, bless us, humble servants for Unk, life, being, now present, for we seek the counsel of the ancient ones. We practice daily the ancient Maatian ways and ancient Maatian truths. We strive evermore to become one with you in this world and in the existence to come. We ask that you bless us on this 97th Haru day of the year after the Helical rising, 263 Haru days remaining until Uben Septet rising, Upawat Smai Tawi, Reverend Pet Jet Heb, 25th day of the third abbot of Sebek, fourth month of Shamu. Rempet, year 10, after founding of the new Kemet Naga ship, Kemet Smai Tawi, phenomenon possession, New Age order, Mat Happy Asar. We ask that you bless our families and friends and all of us who gather together in your most holy, sacred, and glorious ancient Tamarian name of Ra Nebuteshera. From the art of seeking you there is much comfort. So as it is spoken, so let it be written, so let it be done. Hatapu Necharak Mara, the Terra Mara, Anuka Mara, Necharak Ra Nebuteshera, Utet Ra Nebuteshera, Anuk Ra Nebuteshera.
Dua, Duau, Seba, Kepatah. Your words are Macharu, true of voice. You are victorious and righteously great. You have commanded the cosmic forces that allows you love, guidance, and protection through the daily experiences of ponderable matter. Your words are splendor to the ears of the ancient ones, the Puat Necharu, and the ancestors. Dua, Duau, Seba. Seba, Ramu Tefqueb is with us as well. You hear Seba? Okay. So right now I'm going to have Seba Kepra Ptah speak to us about the upcoming events that he'd like to share in regard to the Naga trip. And then we're going to, after he speak to you about a November event, Seba Ptah Secret Sar, and I'll have an audience question for Seba Hamotef Kweb as well. So, Seba Kepra Ptah, before you begin, tell everyone who you are and where we can find you.
My name is Kepra Ptah. I am a student of Helical of the Temple of the White and Gold Lotus. I am actually in Seattle, Washington, Pacific Northwest. You can find me on Facebook under the name Kepra Ptah, and you can also find me on YouTube under the same name, KhepraPtah. So if you have any questions about what I do and what I represent, feel free to hit me up at any time. I can also be reached at this email address, nagakhan720@gmail.com. That's NAGAKHAN720@gmail.com. I also do readings for those who are interested in learning about who the Netaru who reside over their lives are and so forth. So feel free to hit a brother up at any time. Atabu.
Dua Seba. And Seba Ramutef Kweb, I see you have joined us. At this time, I call upon you to perform your Hesi so that your words are Macharu, true of voice, and that your words are splendor to the ears of the ancient ones, the Necharu, and the ancestors. Dua Seba Ramutef Kweb.
Hetepu, Dua, Duau, and Azarak, Ramech, Imhotep. Greetings, divine greatness, divine excellencies to the first family. Managa, Shinspa, Ruz, Nesubitis, Hamets, Sba-t, Mutantats, the mortal ones of my heart chairs, phenomenon of procession, new age, order, Gregorian age of my star, and to all the citizens in this Nile Valley cultural collective conscious spiritual valley. And Azarak, O As, Ermuk, Wat Netaru, Panebu, the mother of the Netaru, the mistress of Pet, the maker of mankind, she who is in Usa Medanefer Hakau, divine words of power, mother of all initiation. Bless us humble servants for Unk, life being now present, as we seek the counsel of the ancient ones and practice daily the ancient Maatian ways and ancient Maatian truths. We strive evermore to become one with thee in this world and existence to come. We ask that you bless us on this, the 97th day of the year after the Helical rising, 263 days remaining till Uben Septet Cyrus rising, Upawat Samatawi, Ren Pet that you have, New Year celebration. The 25th day of the third month of Sobek, the third day of Twamatef, the seventh day of the fourth month of the first season of Shemu, year number 10, AFNK/ST, under the new Kemet Phenomenon Procession, New Age Order, Gregorian Age, Asar. We ask that you bless our family, our friends, and all those who gather together who worship in your glorious ancient Khemetic name of Asar Mut Kwatnataru Panebu. For in our art of seeking you, there is much comfort. So let it be spoken, let it be written, let it be done, so shall it be, for now and forever forward. Ra Nipateshara, Panata Papamaat, Unk, Was the Jed, Unk, Uja Seneb, Uben Nefike, Panebu, Haru, Ma'ati, always in the life, all day, every day. Dua.
Dua, Duau, Siba Ramutef Kweb. Your words are Macharu, true of voice. You have commanded the cosmic forces that allows you love, guidance, and protection through the daily experiences of ponderable matter. You have commanded the cosmic forces that allows you love, guidance, and protection through the daily experiences of ponderable matter. Your words are split to the ears of the ancient ones, the Quatnecharus, and the ancestors. Dua, Duau, Siba.
Dua, Dua.
Okay. Seba Kepra Ptah. Again, at this time, if you would, share with us the information you brought with us about the current events and or news of the Nagaship. Dua, Duau.
Dua. My contribution to the Naga ship will have a lot to do with sound, working with sound, and eventually working with herbs and breath meditation. So, as the seventh form of life, we strive to attune ourselves to the first frequency, and with whom we call Ra Nebeteshara. I like to share with my sisters and brothers the art of Hesi, Hekal, and the utilizations of words of power. I've studied the various cultures around the world that reflect the knowledge that had come from the Nile Valley and have spread abroad. So I come in peace, I come in Hotep, and I say du'a'u to all the ancestors and all those who have gifted us with this wisdom, this ancient wisdom that we can share in this so-called modern time. And just like Uben Septat, we're here to raise our serpentine fire, the fire within our being, which rolls from out of the nun as a string and a strand, and declared his name over the power. And it is also important to understand that words shape our reality, it shapes creation. So if someone knows the name of a thing, this is not only an ancient Kemet, but throughout ancient African tradition and can also be found in the East. If we know the name of a thing, we gain power over it. And we will look at the word for ancient Kemet, which is Ren, meaning name. You spell it backwards. And as Seba has pointed out, it also is Ner, which is energy. So there is energy behind the name, which is why it's important that we all adopt a name that represents where we would like to go in our destiny and where it is that we are here to travel to. Also, the name Ra seems universal, like, for instance, Ra represents fire in the Sanskrit language, power in the Yoruba language, and of course, Lord Ra, who is identified with the netter of the sun of ancient Kemet. So, if we were to talk to an ancient Commission Naga priest about the spirit soul, they would most likely say, "You are the self, whose Ba is Netter, or Ntr, or Netcher, according to what school of thought you have come from." So, as it says in the Perhamirim Ger, it talks about one becoming a soul living. For the works of the ancient ones suggest that we're here to ascend to the highest regions, as it says in the pyramid text, the highest regions to reach that first frequency. We may generate new reality in you. 8,766 hours per year, all 10 months of 36 days of 9-day weeks. We strive for the first frequency. So, being conscious, we meditate on consciousness itself. I like to share the various methods of meditating on consciousness itself and the utilization of words of power in this up and coming session for the Naga scholarship. Beyond regular scholarship, we're not talking about the lobotomy that is given to us through a Greek dichotomy, but we're talking about transcending the height, not so much the word that is found within white, but removing the word lack within black and getting back to our Kemau selves. Ourselves as Kamishans or Kemiu Naga, those who taught the wisdom to the ancients have returned. You and I and all things are part of the universal song, which we call the universe, the one song. Herodotus spoke of the ancient priests of Kemet and their knowledge of the sacred vows. The priests who atone these sacred vows while performing their sacred ceremonies. This is the origin of prayers. This is the origin of mantras. This is the origin of the words of power in which we use today. So in Kemet, the sound of a thing is vital to its essence. Everything has a ren, which means a name in already Kemet, which is the spoken language of ancient Kemet, with the written script of the priesthood called Meduneter, also known as the sacred writings. With the simple observation of the English language, we see that there are vowels and there are consonants, and we see that some of the words we use today have the same consonants as ancient words with similar meanings. And we also see that letters and the way we say things affect our glands, our nervous system, and everything else. In fact, if you looked in various languages, you'll discover that when you use the tongue, to press against the palate and use these words, these are called cerebrals, indicating that we're affecting our very cerebral makeup with the various words in which we use. So we look at words like hut, het, which means house. We see that the same consonants are used, right? But the vowels may have changed, as in for a hut or a het. We also see that with various other words like sinur, meaning greater, or older brother, as senior and senior. This is found in ancient Kemet. Neter, we see the word nature. Par'ah, which they talked about earlier, the house of Ra, Par'ah, the great house, which they have mistakenly translated to mean the king or the pharaoh and so forth, which we know as the Nesut Bidi, who is the bee king, and the bee, which also represents the sacred sound of creation, the buzzing in which we'll tap into when we go into meditation. And there's a technique around the buzzing in which I like to show how we can clean out our subtle body and become more in tuned with ourselves and the universe within us and around us. We also see that the house of Ra is the pyramid, meaning the fire which burns in the middle. Each and every one of us is like a pyramid with our own inner fire in which we would like to tap into and raise so that we will be, again, to radiate, and become that living light in which we all strive to achieve. In this age of Maat Asar, we see that it deals with the air element. Your voice is generated by your lungs and trachea. This is the aspect of Nefer, which is why the lungs and trachea are made to resemble the lute. We utter words in the travels through the air as we tap into the sound vibrations in which we would like to put forth. We know that sound travels through the air at 1,100 feet per second. They call it Aquarius. They call this age Aquarius. We also see a man carrying a water, and the icon is utilized to represent Aquarius. Maat Asar is also Sa, meaning incorruptible. For we have returned to a great awakening via the 26,000-year procession. We will benefit when we breathe correctly, eat correctly, drink more water. We also want to speak into the water and place our prayers in this drink before we drink it. Whenever you say something into water, the memory of what you're saying is stored in water. And we're also the age of Aquarius that's talking about, even though it's dealing with air, it also indicates working with water, which is the symbol of wisdom. The food that you eat is being as the air you breathe. As Helical also mentioned, as he did his Tai Chi, as he worked with the breath and shared this information with me on how you can chant the Hesiu and become one with Amun Ra, or become one with any nectar in which you would like to summon and activate within your being. Not only does this practice balance the brain hemispheres, it also unites the upper self and the higher self. However, whenever we do not breathe correctly, when we do not get enough rest, we do not drink enough water, we become foggy headed. Your digestion is thrown off. And when your digestion is thrown off, then so will be your memory. This is why it is good to work with more alkaline foods as opposed to the acidic substances in which we're used to putting in our body. This is why the treatment of the vital organs was so important to the ancient ancestors. These organs were placed in canopic jars. They were so important that each of these four organs was seen as an embodiment of one of the Shimzu Haru. They were the followers of Haru, and each were guarded by a sacred mother, Netert. The lungs are sacred to Hapi, the baboon. He is guarded by Neith. The liver was sacred to Mesta, the human, who is guarded by Ast. The stomach was sacred to Dwamutef, the jackal, who is guarded by Nebbed Head. And the small intestine, sacred to Krepsanuf, the hawk. He is guarded by Serket, that's the lady with the scorpion on her head. So we also see that the four directions connected with the four elements and the four forces as Atum, electromagnetism, Ptah, the strong force, Kepra, the weak force, and Amun, which is gravity. We see that the age of Maat Happy Asar is now upon us. So we look at Maat, we see her kneeling, yet she has wings because she brings justice and balance, because she is grounded in truth. In order for us to take off, we must ground ourselves, which is why spirit ascends or descends into matter, so that you can learn how to spiritualize matter. And this is where the alchemy comes into play. Because once you spiritualize matter, then your mission will be fulfilled and you can move to higher levels of reality. So every 130 days, we gain a day via leap year, according to this particular traditional way of looking at the calendar. However, we also slide out of alignment. That's because the Gregorian calendar is based on this method in which we shall now transcend. So we lose recall. We no longer call out the names of the vibrations proper to the relevant time. Therefore, we send out the wrong signals and contribute to the confusion brought upon us. We continue to have all of the issues that come forth from injured humanity, as spoken of by Baba, or that is Siva earlier. So by having a fixed calendar, we also obtain a stable backbone, aka a jet pillar. Every language uses vowels and consonants. So when it comes to speech, it is not necessarily to always have a written script. However, when you look at the scripts that have come to us today, when you look at even, the Hebrew and the Greek, which came after the Kemetic language, we discovered that those have numeric values. But where did they get this knowledge from? Of course, we know that they got it from our ancestors in the Nile Valley. So you'll see that most of the scripts consist of what we consider consonants in these languages that have come to us today. And we see that the English alphabet is actually an adaptation of the Greek and the Hebrew, which themselves derived from the Kemetic script of the Nile Valley. However, they were changed and altered to fit the needs of the people who would later need to understand from their perspective. They were the invaders. They were the ones who were trying to decipher the knowledge that they were getting out of the Nile Valley and Alexandria around that time period. So this is why there is so much speculation and debate around how words of these languages may have sounded, because we're still trying to utilize a Western methodology of looking at these words and looking at these sounds and understanding that these sounds also have an effect on our very being. So we take note of the ruins of these ancient civilizations, in which we see testimonies of such creative knowledge that have stood the test of time, and we will notice that the stories all match up. And in fact, you will also notice similarities to constructions of the pyramid structures, like both the complexes of Giza and Teotihuacan of Mexico. You'll also see that there are pyramids underwater in Japan. We'll see that everywhere, all over the planet, the Nagas have brought their wisdom. And when you look at the word Naga, you also see the word Ung, which is also contained in Om and Amun. It's the same vibration, and we'll get into that shortly. So we're looking at Teotihuacan, we're looking at Angkor Wat, and we'll see that there's pyramid structures, and we also see that these structures may align with the sun. And they also have writings, which were meant for us to remember. That's why they wrote these writings. That's why they created these writings and put them in stone, so that they would not be destroyed easily. And eventually we will see these writings and we will remember. We will bring the pieces of Asar back together within ourselves and become unified. That was the plan. So our ancestors continue to live through us today as we remember. And when we work with these sounds of power, this will actually invite, or should I say, ignite your memory. so that you will come forth as who you truly are. Each and every one of us have a certain primordial sound in which we can tap into, but we're also striving to tap into the first frequency, which is Ra Nebuchadnezzar Ra. You look at the word Ra, and we'll see that that word, even though it connects with the solar plexus, it resonates throughout our very being because that represents the sun, and we ourselves are children of the sun. So these societies built these monolithic temples and these monuments, and they all share this common story that creation is held together with light and sound. The ancients also spoke about the ability to transform your environment, your inner self, as well as the outcome of an event through the chanting of words of power like Helical and mantras. Just like there are 36 days in a month, we want to awaken the 360 degrees of knowledge, wisdom, and understanding within our being. However, we are born through self creation. So, how do we activate these words of power? What are some of the words of power in which we can utilize? My Baba had taught me about the various words of power and how to utilize them with what is called the triple Hesse formula. So earlier, when I did my Hesse, you may notice that I mentioned Amun Ra, I mentioned actually Amun Ra, and also his wife, and also her child, because I want to represent what that divine trinity is. But first, let's get into some words. So let's look at Amun. Let's look at Amen. Let's look at Om and Om. The word Om and Ama, which the Dogon recognize as the supreme being. What we're looking at is we're looking at the vibrations of the primordial sounds. Ama and Om are also symbolizing the Great Mother in various traditions. So vibrating these particular sounds, you'll be able to fill the holes in our aura in which we actually obtain through the damage throughout the system of in which we live. Like, for instance, all the noise that you hear, some of that noise is not really good for our vibratory field. Some of the stuff that we hear on the radio, or even the things we do to ourselves when we put our feet, or, a lot of times we may go to sleep with the TV on, and we actually have our feet aimed out at the TV, and we're literally sucking up this poison into our feet. A lot of energy travels up the feet and into the rest of the body and throws us off. So you can also bring balance when you utilize the correct sounds. So if you do this long enough by chanting and amen, the amenta, the unseen part of yourself, will activate. This will actually cause your auric field to become stronger and will also help raise your life force. We look at the word amenta, which means the hidden land, and we experience the first time the Zep-Tepi within ourselves. We must release ourselves and seek out ourselves to experience the phenomena of being. So that aspect of us is immortal, is permanent, meaning it cannot be conditioned. So when you tap into that unconditioned part of you, you're rising above what injured humanity was meant to do to us, and that is to condition you and keep you in that mentality of being a slave and a beggar because you're not acclimated to the right time and the right sounds. So we must understand that our universe and its properties, it consists of the solids, liquids, and gases. All that is light slowed down and shaped by sound. Light slowed down, like sound, can be measured by distance in order for sound to be detected. We have to pay attention to the various instruments around us, the vibrations within us, and you can detect the various sounds just by sitting still. And you may notice also when you're in your kitchen or in your living room, you're still picking up on these sounds, right? You're hearing the buzzing of your appliances and so forth. However, it's these sounds in which we would like to get away from sometime. So you go out into a forest, you go out into a place where there's trees, where there's mountains, where there's water, and you sit and you meditate on the sounds of nature. And that's when you recite the sounds of power, like amen, noon, no more. These are all sounds of power attributed to the African, in which the African had developed so that we may reach higher levels of wisdom and consciousness. When these vibrations hit the eardrum, the vibrations go to the middle ear, which contain tiny bones called ossicles, through which these vibrations reach the inner ear. So this inner ear looks like a snail shell. that contains tiny hairs that convert the vibrations in electrical systems and signals throughout the brain. And this is what translates as sounds. These sounds affects how you feel and how you think. We can change our personality, persona meaning through sound. Hence, the persona also means mask. So you can actually transform your appearance, you can transform your energy field through sound. And it breaks down, when you look at the word persona, that breaks down to mean through sound. So constantly utilizing sounds is how we can shape how we even appear to ourselves and others. So for those who are familiar with African ceremonies, when you call upon spiritual forces, and like I mentioned at one time, the orishas, you'll notice that it's done with the singing and dancing and the playing of various tones to the drum. The constant playing of the drums put the individuals in a trance-like state of receptiveness, where this person will go into this possession in which they are said to be mounted by an orisha. So it's through the activation of sounds in which we connect with the various deities which are within us and within the universe and so forth. So sounds and the vibrations that produce it send the signals out into the universe itself, and we are constantly picking up on. And these sounds are being influenced, or these sounds are actually influencing us, rather I should say. So when rock came into existence, sound was produced in the form of waves. These waves and vibrations have been shaping our universe ever since. The sound Ra is the sound of the solar plexus, and Ra is the light and heat necessary for sound to exist. So when we breathe, heat is reduced due to the friction it creates in our bodies. Life is produced because movement generates friction. So we're the living image of the universe, just as it breathes in and out, in and out. Even as we're breathing in and out, we're also corresponding as above, so below, as within, so without. So the universe is all about timing and having that connection of certain things that are happening in different times. And all time is that which stops everything from happening at once, as well as light traveling through space and the cosmic void. So let's get into the triple Hesi. The triple Hesi is Aneshharak Amin Ra, Nut Detirnet Amin Ra, Anuk Amin Ra. And the way I chant this is I say Anechoraka Mara and the Tether Mara, Nuka Mara, Anechoraka Mara and the Tether Mara, Nuka Mara, Anechoraka Mara and the Tether Mara, Nuka Mara. And then I go into silence and then I breathe the Hesi silently. You say Anechoraka Mara, the Tether Mara, Nuka Mara. And one of these days, and if you would like to come to our classes, I'll demonstrate various methods of how to do this and how to connect with that and how to awaken the Amun Ra within ourselves. Not to say that Amun Ra is a deity of this age, but what Amun and Ra represent as far as the ability to work with the breath and to activate that inner fire. So you say Necharak Amun Ra, that means show me your face, Amun Ra. Nukta Amun Ra, I am the power of Amun Ra. Anuk Amun Ra, I am Amun Ra. The triple Hesi, Amun Ra, activates awareness and the power of the will. Along with the Hesi Amun Ra, we can greet his family, which is Mut and Kanzu. That's that divine triangulation that what I'm speaking through, or two, because you don't just talk to the father, you got to talk to the mother, and you talk to the child. You recognize all three. Just if you were talking about an atom in ancient chem, you wouldn't just talk about the atom without praising the atom, because you understand the three parts of the atom. Every part would be connected to another. That's how that works. You wouldn't just talk about the sun, you'll praise the spirit of the sun. You wouldn't just talk about rain, you'll praise the spirit of rain, because everything in nature is connected to what you call a netter. So in this Western society, we have learned how to talk about the forces of nature but not respect them. So therefore, what we do is we litter, we put all kind of filth and junk into our bodies, and we put ourselves in position where, since we don't respect nature, we don't respect ourselves, because we're part of nature, you see. So talking about also connecting with the other aspects of that particular trinity, you also want to pay homage to the mother, which is Mut. So we say Necharak Mut, Mutater Mut, Anuk Mut, which is the same thing. Only the difference is you're saying, show me your face, Mut. I'm the power of Mut, and I am Mut. So you're identifying first, and when you get into any like spiritual system, a lot of times you identify the divinities, and eventually you recognize their power. And then the highest level, you understand that you and the divinities are one. So that's what you're doing with the triple Hesi. You're saying, show me your face. You're saying that you are the power of that deity. And then you recognize that you and the deity are not really separate. Okay? All these entities are within us and around us. But we were taught that we were separate. So we all fell into the illusion of separation. But that's okay, because that's dealing with the concept of solvent coagula, which is the alchemical process of dissolving and breaking apart to be later on reacclimated, to basically be dissolved and later on reconstituted. And that's in the ancient teachings. And we see that in the various mythologies, which are not fantasies, but they're talking about deeper truths, where you're talking about the hero or the heroine who is broken to pieces and later on brought back together. This is not just a star, but it's how energy works. Everything eventually comes into its fullness. Eventually, it separates and then it comes back together. That's the same thing that would happen with our people. We had to go through the alchemical process of solvent coagula, where eventually we were broken apart, but then eventually we come back together. That's how it works. So nothing is permanently destroyed. Nothing is permanently removed in the all. But it does continually go through changes and transformations. So we say Anechara Kanzu. That's the sun. That's Kanzu. That's the lunar aspect. Show me your face, Kanzu. I'm the power of Kanzu. I am Kanzu, and so forth. So that's the triple Hesi formula. Another good sound to tone, and I call it toning, with the triple Hesi formula is Shu. The name Shu also is good for eliminating illness. In Chinese medicine, it's also utilized. It's the same secret sound to the liver and the gallbladder. It's good to get anger to come up and out of the system, so it can lead to problems with your liver and other diseases that cause the body to degenerate. And a lot of times when people carry this anger in them, right, you find yourself making mistakes, even getting in accidents, which seem to be new supernatural in nature. But that anger within you will literally put you in positions where things will constantly happen to you. And if you notice, when you look at the media and you look at the spells that they cast upon your consciousness, they're constantly doing everything to keep you angry, to keep you focused on all the bad stuff that's happening to us all the time. So I'm not saying don't be aware, but it's good to take notice that this is done intentionally. It's no accident that they show the police getting away with murder all the time. And every time it looked like your people were starting to do things collectively and we're about to like overcome a situation, they show you another cop killing on TV, and then he repeat it over and over and over again so that it can put you in that hypnotic state of being receptive to being in pain, to being angry, to be in survival mode. And also many times people carry anger in their system. Will notice that they might get into a car accident and everything else. So when you work with Shu, it's the light that stands upon Seb and holds up Nut. Shu is that light. So you want to meditate upon Shu. Shu is connected to the liver, but Shu is also the same energy that you find in Yahshua, because that sound was taken and acclimated to that deity that was created at that time so that you can indirectly worship yourself, you see. Then you have Ptah Sekhmet Nefertum, which is one of my favorites. Ptah Sekhmet Nefertum. It goes like this. Ptah Sekhmet Nefertum. Ptah Sekhmet Nefertum. Ptah Sekhmet Nefertum. Ptah, 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 Ptah. This Hesi activates cosmic consciousness. So Ptah is the opener, aka the strong force, the shaper of the cosmos, and the universal blacksmith. Kind of like the the Kemetic version of Ogun, the divine craftsman, right? Only difference is Ptah is not identified as a warrior the way Ogun is, but Ptah lays out heaven, or that is not heaven. Okay, that's the Hellenistic way of thinking. See, that's the lobotomy of the dichotomy of the Greek paradigm. Actually, the cosmos. Ptah lays out the cosmos with an iron slab. So Ptah is the shape of the cosmos, the divine blacksmith. Then you have Sekhmet, the cosmic fire and power, the Netert that can both cause and take away sickness. Then you have Nefertum, the perfect one and the complete one, who is also identified with perfumes, which is another science in and of itself, because you learn that through scent The ability to smell and pick up on things with the nose also activates another part of your being. And in ancient Kemet, not only do they utilize sound, they also utilize scent. So a lot of times to call the ancient ones, when they would call the people to rituals and ceremonies, they burn lots of incense because that would attract you. If you smell something good, you're like, what's that? Let me go see what that is. You see? So Amen is the hidden, right? Then you have Amin Ra and you have Hu. That's another sound vibration that I like to share. Amin Ra Hum. Amin Ra Hum is also what helps to bring forth financial abundance and wealth. You chant this Hesi 108 times in the morning and 108 times before retiring. Amin is the hidden, Ra is the light, Hu within or found within whom is authoritative utterance. This is the Heka that opens us up for financial abundance, wealth, and opportunity as well. Ankh Uja Seneb, another very important Hesi. Ankh Uja Seneb. You're activating the power of life, strength, and health. And you can also chant Sa. Sa is also the sound that's alternative for activating Maat, happy, and Asar within our being. It helps with depression. It is also the that helps with the lungs. That removes depression from the lungs. You get in Chinese medicine, you discover that the lungs, if you want to clear depression, you tap into that sound. So in already Kemet, the sound that's good for the lungs. It removes depression that hides within the lungs. And remember, the lungs are also sacred to Hapi, which we mentioned earlier as the sons of Heru, or the Shemzu Heru. So for purification, you would chant Hu Ra Nebeteshara Hu. Hu Ra Nebeteshara Hu. Hu Ra Nebeteshara Hu. Hu Ra Nebeteshara Hu. Chant this Hesi, and it's good to chant this Hesi while you're going on the fast. And the reason I know is I had to do divination. I did divination on all these Hesis in which I'm putting forth. So I asked the universe itself.
Sba,
Yes, yes.
Ptah. Yes, if you would, share this last portion with us that you have. The portion that you have now, let's let it be the last one for today, and then we'll continue on with Sba Ramu Tefqueb. If you would continue this portion, dua.
And then a quick one in which I learned as far as the sounds of the chakras. We notice that there's the pyramid of Imhotep. It has 6 layers. And I believe and understand that these 6 layers also exist within the Buddhist stupa, which also connects with those chakra points within the body, where you say Lam Bam Ram Yam Ham Om. All of these sounds, even though they're in Sanskrit, that is the system that has taken a different form in the valley of Indus Kush, or should I say in the Indus Kush Valley. So a lot of stuff that you see in Hinduism, a lot of people say, oh, stay away from that. What that is that that's your Naga science. That's the science of the Nagas that's been re-inclinated to fit the needs of the people as they moved further towards the Ganges. If you study the Ganges River and study those civilizations of the Dravidians and the Harappan civilizations, they took that sound, they took that knowledge, and all that knowledge in Ayurveda that comes from the original people who are descendants of the Kushites who moved over there and went over there. In fact, there's also stories that suggest that Asar traveled there into the Indus Kush Valley. So it's important because this is where my ancestors told me to look, not just in throughout Africa, but also where it took place and where it was moved, and the fact that it's being reintroduced to us. But the thing about it, it's been Aryanized. So what we want to do with this knowledge, we want to bring it back, and we want to show you how it's connected to the melanated people who had traveled there, and the people of the East who are also known as the Nagas. Those are our people. We are the Nagas return. And with that, I'd like to end by saying Hatepu Akucha Senab.
Eteku, dua, Sba. Okay, so now, Sba Ramu Tefqueb, you performed your Hesi. Did you tell everyone who you are and where they can find you, Sba?
Upon the top of Maat. Anuk Ramutef Kweb. Kweb. You can find me on Facebook as Ramutef Kweb. You can find me on Instagram as Ramutef_Kweb. I am the student and teacher within Teshep Ra, the Holy House of Ra. I'm the master craftsman of astrology and also a keeper of Tep time.
Dua Seba. So I had a series of questions that I have shared on the show today from viewers, from students, Sba-t, and I have one that I think you should answer. I know you should answer it if you would. The question was, oh, um, my sons and I are Pisces. Any meaning of that? I had shared with this person their birthday, the birth star. Could you elaborate on this? And if there's any meaning to her and her sons both being Pisces?
So, from my understanding, using just the word Pisces, I understand using those Hellenistic terms, but under the Ipetaru Shabitam Tuaharu Pamaat, we consider that as the sign of Set. And when you look into Set, there's two aspects when you're dealing with Set. You have the Set that was the harpooner with Ra on the Mech jet boat, where he was harpooning a Pepi, the cosmic serpent. Then you have Set when he fell and he became the brother who did the atrocities to his own brother. So when dealing with that sign is dealing with how you say the most human aspect of oneself, dealing with those two sides. It's like a flip of the coin. And then from previous videos and things of that nature, you'll be able to understand that particular part, knowing that those two fishes going in different directions, bringing unbalance and sometimes imbalance going in two opposite directions, but within the same order. So when looking into that, it's just mainly on a cosmic aspect. You want to bring that balance within yourself, your sun, and understanding the other planetary bodies that have those effects on you. As the Ptah has spoken about those vibrations, rhythm, and frequencies, when you're looking into the cosmic tapestry within the cosmic firmament, you understand that these planetary bodies give off a very divine frequencies. Those frequencies can rate certain aspects of yourself when knowing the star of your birth colliding, knowing with your ba, your ka, and understanding that when you come on this plane, you have the ab, which is the heart, the ba as the soul, the ka is the spirit, and so on and so forth. Next question.
Okay, so then could you speak about her birthday, our birthday, not being the same as our birth date? Could you explain that?
Not a problem. So, understanding one key factor is that any calendar that is under a 7, 8, or 10-day structure is designed to keep you limited, designed to keep you on a Hellenistic term called decree of equity. It's an equity calendar. Anything that has 30 days is meant to feed you, to track your monthly cycles, things of that nature, highs and low tides of the Nile rivers, so on and so forth, etc. When trying to find your birth star, a lot of people don't understand that being on those frequencies of 7, 8, and 9, not 9, 10, it basically severs you from the cosmic tapestry. And when that is happening, 1 second, trying to see if I can flip the camera. There we go. Are you able to see?
Yes, Seba.
All right. So understanding that before the Romans and the Greeks, there were 9 days in every week. What you're looking at is the cosmic forces that allow you love, guidance, and protectance through the daily experience of pondering the matter. As the Siva Ptah has stated with the triple Hesi, is a frequency that you must attain. It's a frequency that we all must attain. Within this is the all of alls, but from a cosmic atomic range, and understanding from what the great Sba-t Asar was tell everyone about who you are, where do you come from, why am I here, and where you're going. And then within this diagram, you have all that with all. Once you find the day of your birth, you end up understanding what the star date is. And then I want to say I have that actual one, but it doesn't look like it at this moment. So, for instance, say you were born on the Gregorian calendar of July 25th of a certain time, right? From that time, using the Gregorian calendar, your birthday just keeps switching and switching and switching and switching and switching and switching, where it no longer lines up to the exact moment of your time of birth. When you connect back to that, a lot of things that are divine that is within you awaken. So, for instance, anyone who has their birthday on July 25th in this age of Maat, you will have this. This is your chart right here. If you know anything with astrology, astrology has a very divine presence within knowing not just time, but just yourself. And knowing yourself, you'll find different ways and methods of how to create, and to not disconnect from that cosmic tapestry. Within this diagram, you will find all things within yourself, all aspects of yourself. Everything that we have been spoken of today is all within yourself. But to understand it, that's where the vibrations and frequencies. So I would definitely recommend those under the sound of Kepler Ptah's voice to consider not just the calendar, not just the astrology, but also with the sounds and vibration to get what that you seek so it can be revealed to you. Because during this time, everything is being revealed to us, all because of the star subject. Not just the star subject, but just us being in this frequency. Next question.
And that's the only question I have for you, Seba Ramutekweb. Seba Ptah Seeker Asar. If you would, share with us the information about the upcoming November 11th event.
Yes, Tua Parata Pupamara Costa Jeron Kujas Neb, Ubinafiki Panagorumati. It was a great presentation, Kepler Ptah. Enjoyed everything, every moment of it. Dua with you. Yes, we will be at the Museum of the National Center of Afro-American Artists in Roxbury, Boston, Mass. At the Museum of the National Center for Afro-American Artists, that's at 300 Walnut Ave at the Royal Burial Chamber, the Tomb Room, Nesubithia Spalta. I will be joined there by the great Seba Clemson Brown from Transatlantic Productions, Tap Video, and my great Seba Reggie Mabry. We will be at the museum. They will be interviewing me at the museum, and we will break down the dynamics, the proportions, the the dimensions of the macro and the microcosms of the tomb room, and also the Medunetta. And we're gonna break down all the walls. Me and Reggie are gonna break down through me and Seba Reggie Mabry. We'll be breaking down the Medunetta, the walls, the sections, and using basic Mendunetta techniques so that the common novice or layman can follow, such as Gardner Sindless and E.A. Wallace Bowles and Reisner, Birches, Bremstead, and so on and so forth. But then we will apply it into a cosmic interpretation through primordial temple discipline and bringing it all together within the concept of self-creation. And it should be a beautiful event. The museum has been closed because of the COVID. We've been there since we went down for the Ren Pet. We had a wonderful celebration there. The Queen Mother Asma Tefnut was there, and Siba Rabutef Kweb showed up, and we had a great celebration for Ubin Supta Cyrus Rising, Ren Pet did have the New Year's celebration, and we're still trying to get in this tomb room, and hopefully this time here, which will be the second Wednesday in November, we will be there. And also that Wednesday, since the Museum of Fine Arts is open for free, we will make this a double tap, a double tap. We're going to move into the Museum of the National Center for American Artists, perform our histories, our affirmation, break down the dimensions, and we will also break down the metaphysics in all four walls, and with our translations and reliterations. And then we shall move over to the Museum of Fine Arts and break down some of the other people back there in the residence of the art. So that should be a great event, hopefully. We will be streaming live. I will be streaming live. Clemson Brown from Transatlantic Productions, Tap Video, will be documenting it, and he will be showing it on next week, on the Sunday after, I guess. And also, I'll have my own personal private production crew from C4, Brother C4. He did up documentary for the Van Pet, and he shall be documenting us on his timeline. So we'll have plenty of video, plenty of streamage for you, and it'll be a great event. And hopefully, we'll do plenty more after that under the Nagaship Association.
Okay, Seba Ramutef Queb, we have a question from the audience, a current question. Her birthday is November 23rd. I'm seen as a Sagittarius. However, on the sidereal reading, I'm a Scorpio. Which is more accurate?
On the top of Maat. The one that's more accurate is most likely, well, not even. Let me start over. You are what we call a circuit, which is Scorpio. Under sidereal, people have to understand that sidereal is another way of saying star. A sidereal is a star. Ra is a star. Ra is also an energy. Sidereal is also an energy. That sidereal that we speak of is what we call Sba-t, or what you would know as Cyrus or Sirius. Understanding those portions of Sirius reveals all. When I say it reveals all, it reveals all. A sidereal calendar, a sidereal astrology is the most accurate and absolute reading. When it comes to dealing with these Western, Eastern, Vedic, things of that nature, they all have their place. But one thing they have to realize is that their place is only within the ages and not what our cosmic frequency is set on. So when dealing with this particular date, you are what's known as Serket, or what you were known under the Hellenistic term Scorpio.
Dua, Seba. Okay, so now we're gonna just open the floor to the panel. Does anyone have anything they'd like to share to the audience? Seba,
Absolutely.
Ptah, Seba Ramutef Queb, Seba Ptah Sacred Asar.
Absolutely, we have a mountain to share. It's just so much. We need more time on this broadcast because Ptah has so much more to say. Ramutep has abundance to express. But to lay down a foundation for these new Sebas coming up, these new young master teachers, first of all, you have to understand they stole our spirituality. How they stole our spirituality was they corrupted time. They took us from a solar system lunar calendar to just a lunar cycle calendar. And under lunar cycle calendar, it's only good for feeding you. You can regulate the now. You can calculate a woman's menstrual cycle and the birthing gestation and the highs and low tides of the ocean and the now inundating and reciting, okay, which are all good things to know. But they severed you from your divine birthright, from the invisible, cosmic, invisible, and biblical cord, which connects you to that Milky Way galaxy. This is called the phenomenon of precession. So to break this down before we close out this show, let me give you a basic run by, a drive through sacred primordial temple discipline methodology of understanding cosmic time and space. First of all, the Earth has three motions. The Earth rotates on its axis, and upon this axis is either, so now remember, we're scientifically or mathematically, we're relating it with our cultural, cosmic, collective spirituality, because you always got to keep triangulating to make that frequency, that first frequency, keep the vibrations and the nerve, the energy. So the earth rotates on its axis is motion number one. And mathematically, that's 24 hours and 35 extra minutes in every day. It takes the earth to rotate one complete time. Okay? So that daily process, that means as the second movement of the earth, it revolves around the sun. And under 24 hours and 35 minutes, it takes 360 days. Okay? It's 360 days for the earth to revolve around the sun. And the third motion is the earth, it is tilted 23.5 degrees from vertical. And this creates a wobble. And one complete wobble is 26,000 years. This is called the precession of equinox, the time it takes the sun to pass through each and every sign of the precession, which you know as the zodiac, which we don't like to use the word zodiac because that's a Latin word that means zoo. So we call it the phenomenon of precession. And you know it as the precession of equinox. So there's the earth rotating on its axis. So now the first calendar of humankind is a solar sidereal lunar. And the solar cycle calendar and the foundation of the mathematical foundation is 8,766 hours. That's called a sidereal year. A sidereal year, sidereal year, tomatoes. We're talking about a star called Sba-t. And the time it takes it to break the plane of the horizon, to traverse the elliptic plane, and return to its original position in respect to the fixed stars is 8,766 hours. That's the foundation of your mathematical equation. Now the calendar has 10 months in a year, 36 days in every month, 4 weeks in a month, 9 days in a week, and 8,766 hours in a year. This is how we mathematically devise the true calendar, which is a solar calendar. So now, remember, the Earth has three motions. 24 hours and 35 minutes. The extra 35 minutes is split between the duat and the twat, which is sunrise and sunset, or dawn and dusk. Okay, our ancestors accounted for each and every second of daylight. Now, under this calendar, which is a perfect calendar, there's only one problem. We don't exist. There are 6 forms of life on the planet: plants, insects, reptiles, water creatures, birds that fly, and animals. Man and woman does not exist because Newt and Seb were not allowed to have any children because time has been allotted for. Enter calendar number 2. Jehuti petitioned Ra for an allotment of time so that Seb and Newt can give birth to the earth Neteru. But Ra said there's enough time has already been allotted for. So Jehuti, the Lord of the sacred writings and the sacred mathematics, so when you see the schematic here, and you don't see nobody separate Newt from Seb, that is a mathematical equation. That is a scientific deduction that the Earth is rotating at 24 hours a day, like it does today. Today, the Earth's first motion is 24 hours. It's 24 hours in every day today. That means that when the Earth's second movement around the sun is 365 and a quarter days. This is called the Jehutian calendar. This is the second part. This is a 3-in-1 solar sidereal lunar calendar, the original calendar of humankind. And I superimposed the Gregorian calendar right on top of it to make it a practical calendar. So it's a living, breathing calendar. Ipeteru. And Ipet means to measure, Heru means days. Ipeteru is a Shabitem Tuaru Pamaat. So on the second motion, which is 24 hours in every day, first rotation of the Earth, then it rotates on its axis, then it revolves around the sun as the second movement, 365 and a quarter days. And then it's tilted 23.5 degrees from vertical, which makes it wobble, which creates a 26,000 year cycle around the precession of equinox, which we call the phenomenon of precession. Because time moves clockwise. Time is moving clockwise from left to right. When the sun precesses, it goes counterclockwise. This is the precession of equinox. The sun must pass through each and every sign. Each sign is 2,160 years. 2 times 12 is 24, and 1 is 25. And so many odd years, it comes up to 26,000 years. So this is how we begin. So now we understand that Newt and Seb gave birth to the earth Neteru. They had 5 children. These are the first ancestors. These first ancestors' names was Heru, Asar, Sut, Ast, and Nebhet. So, as we begin to acclimate ourselves to our cultural, cosmic, collective conscious spirituality. So when you see this picture here, you're supposed to automatically know that the first motion of the earth is only 24 is 24 hours and 35 minutes, because there's somebody separating the sky from the earth, and that somebody right there is Shu. So how does this happen? How does this become practical? You have to look at the sky and the earth and ponderable matter, and you would say, well, what is it that separates the sky from the earth? Because in the daytime you look up in the sky or the celestial firmament and you see the sky, but at night you see stars. Where did the sky go? Ask yourself, where did the sky go? And then in the morning there's dawn, and all of a sudden the sky is back in the sky. So we know what is it that separates the earth from the sky, and that's light. That's why you see Shu holding them up. So Ra was holding and separating them because time has been allotted for. There's 24 hours and 35 minutes in every day. There's 360 days in a year. There's 8,766 hours in a year for the traveling of Sba-t through the elliptic plane and returning to its original position with respect to the fixed stars. And we know that there are 10 months in a year, 36 days in every month, 4 weeks a month, 9 days in a week. So you have to have this mathematical equation all the time. You have to know the two equations of the rotation of the Earth, the revolution of the Earth around the Sun, and as the tilting on its axis introduces you to the phenomenon of precession. Once the phenomenon of precession is brought into the equation, you bring our story into the equation. That's why when you was in school, they taught you about the Earth rotating on its axis, and it revolves around the Sun, and it's tilted 23 degrees from vertical, which makes it wobble. But after that, they cut you loose. They didn't tell you about the phenomenon of precession. They called it the precession of equinox, but they didn't tell you about the phenomenon of precession, which is the movement of the sun through these 12 signs. And this so like the question that was asked for Ramutep Queb about the sign of Pisces. Anytime you want to understand a sign of Pisces, which is a very, very difficult sign to understand, because at first you see Uncle Set. First all you see is Uncle Set, okay? But when you look at the symbolism, that identifies this sign, then you see that it's symbolized by first two fishes going in opposite direction, which creates chaos. But these two fishes are actually the sun and Sirius doing their binary stars. They do a dance together. Every 1,461 years, it's at its closest point. Every 1,400 years, it's at its furthest point. This is called the Helical rising, a true Helical rising. And that's 1,461 years. And this is also demonstrated in the other symbol for Pisces or Uncle Set. Pisces in Hellenistic terms, European terms. Uncle Set within the meteorological star timeline. And we have the half circles that are line connecting it. This is symbolically, which the Dogons show this symbol. Very, very, and they show you the symbol of two circles intertwining. This is the binary orbit and the binary dance of Sirius and Sba-t. So when they come together at its closest point, that means the sun and the star on the Gregorian calendar at July 25th at 3:03 in the morning, which we have validation from our Sba in the Sudan, Amru Ahmed Mary Amen, who was on our show on Black Ice TV, Richie, when we did our show from England on Black Ice TV 7 platform with Black Ice TV Richie. He was on his roof in the Sudan. And we're looking for the sky to rise at 5:03. He said, yo, Ptah, the sun rose 2 hours ago. I'm sitting here watching it happen. He said, but the broadcast wasn't on yet. We had to wait till we came on at 5, but the sun had already rose. But he made his calculations there. But anyway, so we know, boom. So we know our mathematical equation is July 25th on the Gregorian calendar. And when we equate it to on that day, that becomes the first day of the year, which is in the month of Jehuti. It becomes the first day of the first month of Jehuti. The first day of Ra. The first day of Ra. It becomes the first day of the first month of the first season of Shemu. So you're able to look at the legend. When you look at the legend, you see the star at the top there. There's the star. That calculates on the Gregorian calendar for July 25th. On our calendar, it calculates the first day of the first month of this month over here, Jehuti. Then it comes down to the first day, there's the sun near Ra. Then it comes to the first day, the first month of this season, which is blue, which is Shemu. And that means this is year number 10, which on the Gregorian calendar, it's on July 25th. So what we do is, remember the earth rotates on its axis, revolves around the sun, tilted 23.5 degrees from vertical. So you got your mathematics, you got your science, but you got no spirituality. You're still believing in God. You're still believing in Jesus. Yes, Queen Mother.
Continue, Siba.
You're still believing in God. You're still believing in Jesus because you have no spirituality. You have not connected the two, the Trinity. You have not triangulated yourself. It's always about triangulation and knowing astrology and astronomy and your cultural, cosmic, collective, conscious spirituality. So now on July 20th, on the Gregorian calendar, on the next, that indicates that our sun has made one complete orbit around our Earth has made one complete revolution around the sun under 24 hours and 35 minutes. But now, since we're under a 24-hour cycle, and our first ancestors were born, which are the first 5 children born on the planet, which were born from the womb of Newt, and we got the seventh is Helical, Asar, Sut, As, and Nebhet. So now on July 20th, we don't count the next 5 days on a 24-hour cycle because we're working under an 8,766-hour mathematical equation of a star. So on these 5 days, we account for these days by celebration, festivals, fasting, meditation, and observance. Every second of the orbit of the Earth is accounted for in that singular revolution. There was no need of leap year. So what the Greeks and the Romans did was they imparted, they severed you from your the cosmic tapestry, the cosmic environment, by forcing you upon a lunar cycle calendar. And now on this calendar is where you lost your spirituality. Because on this calendar, it's January 1st, 2020, hypothetically speaking, is on a Monday, 2021 is on a Tuesday, 2022 is on a Wednesday, 2023 is on a Thursday, and the next year is on a Saturday because they got a leap year. So this becomes a perpetual calendar. Our calendar is perennial. Perennial means it's fixed. It's not going to move. The star that was in the sky on your birthday, when the earth comes back around again, that star is going to be there. But on this Gregorian calendar, you lost your star. They stole your star at your birth, and you didn't even know it. So you're running around here talking about it's your birthday. It's not your birthday. They stole everything from you. So this is why we're here. Ramutep here, Ramutep Queb is here with the astrological and astronomical configuration to bring you back. He does the birthing charts. He does the natal charts. He's going to restore you back to your original star of your birth because they stole your star at your birth because it's a perpetual calendar. And then when they first stole your calendar from you, they implemented a lunar cycle calendar in 754 BCE or AUC. That's what I need to know. And AUC, Ab Urbe Cordita, upon the founding of the city of Rome, for you theologians, for you ecclesiastic people who know how to hunt things down. You're a detective? Detect this. 754 AUC, Ab Urbe Cordita. Ab Urbe Cordita means upon the founding of the city of Rome. Just Google it. And then you'll see that at this time they implemented the calendar because the spring equinox, the sun wasn't lining up with the spring equinox. So they superimposed that fraudulent Gregorian calendar with the lunar cycle, but every 130 years, one unearned day is added to the calendar. So you're not going to see it in your lifetime. They're so busy beating you, enslaving you, and forcing you into subjugation and gorging you upon your riches that you're not going to see it, your son's not going to see it, and your next descendant and next child is not going to see it, then you're lying. But by 600 years, the sun doesn't line up on the spring equinox. It drifts. And if it drifts more than 6-7 days to 10 days, which is 1,000 years, then the crops aren't going to grow. This is how we figured it out. We would have never figured it out. They kept reforming the calendar. Why did they keep reforming it? They reformed it at 754. They reformed it with the decree of Canopus 1, 2, and 3. If you would have watched that series with me and the Queen Mother Asma Tefnut, you would already know this. But this is where you had to recognize how they kept revising and reforming the calendar. And when they kept reforming it, the decree of Canopus 1, 2, and 3, which is Ptolemy 1st, 3rd, and 5th, then with the Julian calendar, which is the Roman Greco calendar, then in 325 AD, they got the Council of Nicaea. They just kept doing it all the way up to Pope Gregory. But this time, Pope Gregory, when he reformed the calendar, he made it leap years and divisions of 400. So this way here, one unearned day is added to the calendar every 3,000 something years. So we would have never caught it. So first of all, they stole everything you got, and what we're here to do is bring it back to you. This is what we do here at the Precious Treasure, our series. We're going to give up great good news for you next week on our platform with the great Queen Mother Goddess. Of our websites opening up, Ramutef's classes will be coming on. Kepler Ptah will have his classes coming on. I have my classes. We'll be doing online virtual reality teachings with the Queen Mother, because she is the great Hemet of our telecommunications and our multimedia platform here for the Nagaship Association. So we want to give all our tributes and all our honor to our great Queen Mother Goddess Asma Tefnut, because what she has done, she puts in all the work all week long. She prepares the PowerPoints and presentations. But we have a lot. She has a lot of great news to bring to you about our future presentations. And I want to send it back to the Queen Mother at this time. Maybe Robert F. Webber, someone else might want to say something before we close.
Okay. Steva. So now what I want to share also, what I'm going to share is how to obtain this information further. Between what Sba-t Seeker Asar has shared with you, which for one is the series that you're viewing now and or listening to, and also the future classes that will be offered. So while I was collecting questions this week, and throughout time, as I speak to people about the calendar and how to purchase the calendar, and for example, what is the cosmic egg, we have many opportunities for you to observe and learn and be a part of the knowledge that we are sharing today, as well as much more. For one, we have the Precious Treasure Immortality series. This is segment 10. So this is our 10th video of this series. And this views every week, what you would call Thursday. We are here. We also have my monthly show, which is, hold on, it's all right. We also have, so I bet means month. So each I bet, I have a show, and it is called Take the Gregorian Calendar Off of Your Wall. And in that segment, that series, I share once each I bet each month how to use the calendar. So we go over items like in your calendar what each day is. So Sba-t Seeker Asar just mentioned Ra, the first day of Ra, the first month I bet of Jehuti. So in the calendar, which side am I on? Here in the yellow, right here, this is Ra. So we go over each day because each one of these represents a day. So we go over that and tell you which one is which. And again, there are 9 days in a week, not 7. So we don't have a Monday through Sunday, Sunday and Saturday. We don't have that on here. This is a 3-in-1 calendar, as Sba-t Seeker Asar has mentioned. We also go over each I bet, the names of each I bet. So I bet means month. In here, you will not find January through December. You will find Het Haru and Jehuti and Min and Herukuti. And we also cover the Sidereal, which is part of the 3-in-1 we have here. We cover this legend here on the back, which includes the phenomenon of precession, which some of you may know as the Zodiac. This legend also includes the rings, and we go over what each ring means. So one ring represents the procession. One ring represents the Abet, the month. Haru means day, so one ring represents the Harus, the days. And we cover all that in here. And if you were here, Sba-t Secret Star has also mentioned the Renpet, which is the new year, and it begins July 25th, not January 1st. So things like that is what the show Take the Gregorian Calendar Off of Your Wall each Abet each month is for. The details of how to use your calendar. Sba-t Secret Star also has his Zoom meetings. When I came into Tesha Parah, the Zoom meetings were once a week. They are now twice a week. And Sba-t Secret Star, could you tell us more about that class? And this is a class that you do have to pay for. So Seba will tell you about that as well.
Yes, absolutely. Most of the information that we give to you is all free information because it's your information from the beginning. Okay, but we teach classes. I teach classes twice a week with the Nagaship Association under the tutelage of our great Queen Mother Goddess. She performs the technical support that I need, and we break down the origins of existence, creation, development of the universe, but we begin you into understand how to tell time, the process of telling time, breaking it down mathematically for the simple laymen to learn and how to relate to it. But this is our story, first frequency specifically. And the Queen Mother Goddess said, you won't see January, February, March on the calendar, but actually, what we did was it's all in Medunesa, but what we did was, if you'll see the notations right here, you'll see these shireks. These shireks. In these shireks, you will see the Gregorian months, which makes it a practical calendar because we want to acclimate you because we know we have to gravitate you from being into this darkness of this Hellenistic paradigm doctrine. So we gravitate you and acclimate you slowly, but it's a practical calendar. So you could keep your daily rituals. See right there, that would be July. That would be August. That would be August. And then the next one down, it goes into September. So that you have the appointments for the children. You have to go to the doctor's appointment and so on and so forth. So this is a practical calendar. It's a 3-in-1 calendar. But yes, we teach you how to work the calendar, to understand the calendar. Because if I told you today, what's today's date? I'm going to tell you today's date is Dwamutep, 25th of the 3rd month of Sobek. But you might know, you're going to tell me it's October
29.
October 29, 2020. And this is what they do to you. When you say October, you Hellenize yourself and you defrequensize it. The whole thing is all about a frequency. Their whole plan and scheme is to defrequensize you and Hellenize you and lobotomize you. So when you say October, you don't know what October is. You just say it. You're just saying things. You have no idea what it means because October means 8 in Latin. And if October means 8 and October is our 10th month, you obviously not getting it because you're not obviously just going to contradict yourself. They got you saying things that don't even mean nothing. They contradict yourself right in front of you. But they don't think you don't understand Latin. You don't understand September. Sept in the Latin root word means 7, but September is our 9th month. Nove is nueve in Spanish, and Latin is nine. It means nove means 9, like nueve. But it's our 11th month. Don't you understand? You have to understand what you're saying and what they're doing. They don't think that you're literate, because you can't be literate. And if you're literate, you just don't care because you're making so much money off of other black people that you ain't trying to buck the system. We're getting ready to break this whole system down, this whole system, and return it back to the order of existence. This is the New Age order star gospel. So we're going to make sure that each and every one of you, the common Nagas, Shemsurus, my brothers and sisters who've been tossed away, thrown out, don't have a dime in their pocket, we have classes, we have information for you here today for free. Twice a week, we're here every week for free to give you information you can relate, you can correspond with us. And the other day on my classes, I said I'd teach everybody for free last Friday. Nobody shows up but the regular students. I said the class is open for everybody to come. You're not taking this seriously, but you're going to take it seriously because everything that you worship and everything that you celebrate, I'm not digressing here, okay? Everybody take it easy. Everything that you worship and you celebrate on that Gregorian calendar is going to bring about your demise. Everything, it's easy to prophesize what's going to happen because it's so easy. Ramu Tech Prep can get on here right now and tell you 17 prophecies right now. It's so easy to prophesize what's going to happen. They got the COVID. They got the COVID. They got these. Every Gregorian holiday is designed to bring about your demise because you got to eat his food. And then when you eat his food, you have to go to his gathering. And now with this COVID in here, you're going to gather. You're going to go from street boxing to kickboxing to pine boxing. I'm trying to put it into a rhyme and rhythm for you OGs on the street so you can figure this out because you're going to have to wake up. There's no way in the world somebody can tell you that there's 7 days in a week. They can't tell you it's 30 days in a month unless it's a seasonal calendar. And a seasonal calendar is only to feed you. Everybody knows that. All theologians know this. All ecclesiastic people know that. Only people don't know that is black people. This Gregorian calendar on your wall is designed to keep you in mental, physical, spiritual, subjugated slavery. So what the Queen Mother was saying is that we celebrated the New Year's or the Rentet, which means Ubin Supta, Supta Cyrus Rising on July 25th on the Gregorian calendar. That's when the sun and the star rose in unison. That meant that when the sun and the star appears in the sky, which is the only time that you'll ever see the star in the sky with the sun. It only happens on July 25th on that Gregorian calendar. And that's called the Helical Rising. And so we said our Hesi that today is the 97th day of the year. That means 97 days ago, we celebrated the New Year's. So you still have time to purchase your Rasaurian Khemetic Solar System Lunar Calendar. Ptah is a official global distributor. He has his link on Facebook and Instagram. Ramutep Queb is a official global distributor. The Queen Mother Goddess Asma Tepnut is a official global distributor of the Rasaurian Khemetic Solar System Lunar Calendar. We want every melanated person on the planet to have this calendar on their wall. We're also devising a watch and a timepiece that's going into effect into an app as we speak. But you should understand that. Don't think that our New Year's is over, and don't wait for that January 1st New Year, because that's really going to Hellenize you. That's going to defrequentize you. Okay, they celebrate New Year's as January 1st because the constellation of Pleiades is at its midhaven above your head, straight above your head on January 1st at midnight. The constellation of Pleiades is at midhaven, which means that Orion, the constellation of Orion, will be to the left of it, and which means the star Sba-t will be at the far left of Orion. But they celebrated on January 1st because the Pleiades is above head, and that the Roman consulate took office on the Roman calendar Janus, in the month of Janus. And Janus is January. That's where January comes from. The Roman god is Janus. So you're so Hellenized and lobotomized, you've been Greeked down and Romaned up. You don't know if you're coming or going. So in order for you to disconnect yourself from this lobotomizing and Hellenizing, let your children have a chance. Let your children know when their real birthday, their Mesu Nefuheru, their birthday, their solar return. Let your children know. And then when you buy the calendar, don't put it all the way up on the wall. Put it down low with however high your children is. Put it so when they walk by it, they can see it. Whoa! You got to give them the frequency. You can't put it all the way up so they can't see it. Put it where they can walk by it. If they tear it down, just text me. I'll send you another calendar. Don't worry about it. It's not that serious. We'll send you a free calendar. Leave it where the children can see it, because we want the next generation to be able to absorb the frequencies of this new age order, the great golden age of Maat. We're living in two great ages. We just passed through the great golden age of Uncle Set of Pisces. This is where the effects of, we call it astrology and astronomy. So in astronomy, Uncle Set is a bad sign because of what's going to happen to us through this 2,160 years. But it's a good sign also in astronomy because it represents the binary, it represents two binary stars, which means that when we reach the great golden age of Pisces or Uncle Set, it indicates scientifically and mathematically that our sun has passed through each and every sign of the zodiac, and we came back to ground zero. This is why we're at now. It's called the great age of the golden lotus. The golden lotus opens once every 26,000 years, and we're living in it right now. You're actually living in two great ages. It's the age of the golden lotus. We have just dawned upon the age of Maat, which some say is Aquarius. But whatever you say it is, mathematically, we've only been in it for 10 years. So this is not that Khemetic year of 6,272. That's madness. If anybody even tell your teacher to come see me. Because we're getting ready to stop, beat the grass, and shake all these Shemsu sets in our community. These teachers teaching us false information that don't even know how to tell time. They still got a Gregorian calendar on the wall. They still open up their show talking about this is Sunday's show. We want to welcome you to Sunday's show. They're Hellenizing, lobotomizing you. It's called Helical. It's called divided loyalty. Am I going too far?
Do you have some water, Stephen?
Excuse me? Yes.
Do you have some water to drink?
Yes, I do. So we want to make sure that you understand that how to present yourself to the stars of the day, but mainly understand that if this is the 97th day of the year, that means we got to say it's 263 days remaining. You still got 263 days of this calendar to work with. You've only missed 97 days. Order your calendar today. Go
the
to
link
her.
is in the description.
The link
in
is
the
in the
video.
description.
Every time.
All day. We haven't asked you to contribute or nothing because it means nothing to us. We want you to order the calendar. Order it, even if you order it for memorabilia. Order it for, hey, here's for my grandmother or son, your child. Hey, here's something for you. Even if you think it's smoke and mirrors. Take a shot. You took a shot at everything else that's going to kill you. We're trying to give you immortality. Take a shot. Make your orders today online with the Queen Mother Goddess on her Etsy page and her PayPal, Ramutep Queb. He's so busy doing star charts and he's so busy he hasn't even worried about selling calendars. He's so busy doing star charts and native charts.
Prophecies.
To the post office. Everybody's calling Ramutep Queb up. Ramutep Queb, where's my star? He did my star chart. I found out. So now you have to understand that not only every 130 years does one unearned day is added to the calendar, but also that the Earth not only is tilted 23.5 degrees from vertical got nothing to do with magnetic north. Nope. And magnetic north is always moving. Magnetic north is tilted almost 5 degrees. So when you look in the sky, and I thought I was a Leo. I look in the sky on July 28th, and I'm looking up in the sky, and I see Kepra's in the sky. I see Kepra, Cancer. Cancer's in the sky. Kepra's in the sky. I'm looking for Helical for Leo, and Kepra's in the sky. So comes to find out, I'm not even a Leo. I'm a Kepra. I'm a Cancer. Because how can I be Leo, and Leo's not in the sky on my birthday? As above, so below. They got you so confused that they'll tell you you're something, but the sky's telling you something else. Forget the sky. The book's telling me I'm this. You got to be a retard. You have to be so conditioned into metaphysical spiritual subjugated slavery, which they call PTSS, post-traumatic slave syndrome. It's generational. They've been working on this for 4,000 years every day. So for you to look up in the sky and find out I'm not even a Cancer. So Ramutep Queb is the one who will identify you to the star of your birth. They stole your birthday 7 years into your birth. Your star was gone. You lost that star when you were 7 years old. They stole it from you. You never even knew it. Now for the last 40 years, you've been saying it's your birthday, and it's not even your birthday. It's your
Seba,
birthday. You went outside to look at the sun, and you never looked in the sky. They got us so dysfunctional. Okay, so we have to begin to come back to the order of existence. See, there is an order that applies to all things. This order is called the order of existence. It was issued by the creator of all things, Ra Nebuchadnezzar, to ensure the continuous perpetual evolutions of all things. So when I speak to you today, as the Queen Mother speaks to you today, as Kepler Ptah speaks to you today, as Ramutep Queb speaks to you today, of the New Age Order, of the Great Golden Age of Maat Asar, and the New Age Order Star Gospel of the self-creation of Ra Nebuchadnezzar, it is of this order that we speak. Dua, dua.
yes. Seba, Ramotef Queb, could you tell everyone how much the birth chart, the readings are that you provide?
At this present time, until the app is created, finished, and absolute, whatever you can give, just give. Because I'm not trying to cash out on anyone's birth. When it comes to dealing with this topic, one thing that I've been pondering on and I want to get it out. So this system that they put us under, especially when it's dealing with astrology itself. Again, as I stated earlier, we're talking about an equity calendar. A person who's on this, how you say, Western, Eastern, Vedic, they have a system that is designed to make you something that you're not. And what I mean by saying that, they'll tell you, oh, I'm a Leo, or oh, I'm a Cancer, or oh, I'm this, I'm that. But they don't tell you the other aspects about yourself. Then in the system that they have you under creates a whole different vibration off the cosmic tapestry, meaning that you become a mental, physical, subjugated slave within a system that they created to keep you subjugated on a yearly basis, generational basis, from infinity basis in a sense. To understanding that process and understanding that they stole your time, they stole your birth, they stole your culture, they stole your history, they stole everything about your existence.
How much is this going to cost us, Ramutep?
I
That's
said,
the question.
whatever you can give. But I'm not putting a price until I have the app on it.
So donations, you're accepting donations.
Correct.
Yes. Okay. Okay.
Okay. And Seba, Ptah Secret Star, tell us how much the Zoom meetings are.
Um, the Zoom meetings are only $20 a class. That's all.
And they are when and what time?
We're at Tuesdays at 8 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time and Friday at 7 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Okay.
And could you tell us about the green room?
Excuse me.
Could you tell us about the green room for the Zoom meeting?
Green room. Yes, the green room opens up at 7:30 on Tuesdays and at 6:30 on Friday. Green room is where we come in before class. Everybody gets to discuss or to express, or we can customize and personalize things to you. What is it happening, or things that in your personal life, or things that you are battling with, or things that you need extra work in. We have a green room that opens up a half hour before the classroom. And you want to speak to Ramutep Queb around this time, personally, you can come into the green room. If you want to speak to Kepler Ptah about the frequencies, the sounds, the vibrations, the acoustics, you want to be at the green, want to be in the green room, because come 8 o'clock, we go right into class. We go right into military form, battle formation. We're here to, first you must release yourself. Then you must seek out yourself, overcoming the sensation of weightlessness and acquiring the ability to experience the phenomenon of being. That's what we're here to do. We're going to be here.
And embracing Maat within yourself.
Embrace Maat within yourself. Yes, Queen Mother. So there's just so much that we like to do, like this show here. we might be going on for another couple of hours. We keep messing around, but we're gonna have to close this show out. It's supposed
Yes,
to have over. Bravo. We want to hear from Kepler Ptah before we close out. If you want to,
and we will.
if you want to express Kepler Ptah, please.
Yes. Also, I want to share. We have the Precious Treasure Immortality Facebook Messenger group chat.
Yes.
And in there, people can join the chat. So contact one of us so you can be added to the group. It is a disciplined study group. So it's not a place where we post memes and personal information and Hellenized conversations and all that stuff. It's strictly for the study of
Yes.
immortality.
If
See,
you have
we're
if you have
collaborating.
purchased the calendar from either Queen Mother Asma Tefnut, Ramu Tefkweb, or from Kepler Ptah or from myself, you automatically earn your way through the door into the study group. Okay, we show you how to applicate in a practical manner the calendar every day, how to perform messy, how to connect to the cosmic forces, how to address yourself. We present this in acquiring ability, experience, the phenomenon of being every day because we live this. We live this 24 hours and 35 minutes every day between the duat and the twat. This is not, we don't do this for nothing. We do this for our divine birthright, which is immortality. So you can join the group. We got like 400 people in the group, but we only got 10 people in the classroom. Okay? You want to be in the classroom, but it takes a great step to enter the classroom. You got to have a purpose. You got to know you're trying to acquire this. You're trying to find your divine birthright of immortality. You want to you want to acknowledge the questions: Who am I? Where do I come from? Why am I here? And where am I going? This is what we answer every day. This is what the Greeks and the Romans and all the foreigners came to Africa to steal from you. That's the question. That's the age-old question. And we teach you how to acquire this ability to experience the phenomenon of being scientifically, mathematically, with your cultural, cosmic, collective conscious spirituality. So we're triangulating. You know what I mean? Right? This is what we do. They might, you know how they do the cross on you? We do the triangulation. We triangulate. We're triangulation, baby. We're like the electron. We got a proton, a neutron, a nucleus surrounded by a nucleus that has an electron, and bing, 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 we got interdimensional properties. We're always moving at the speed of light, Pert em Heru. Some people know the Pert em Heru as the chapter coming forth by day. That's God assigned list. That's E.A. Wallace Bowles. That's Reisner. That's Birches. That's Champollion. In the temple, we know the Pert em Heru to be the chapter of coming forth as the speed of light. Pert Hemru, Pert em Heru, Pert em Heru, coming forth. The feet are walking with the verb, and the sun's there. It's not day. We come by the speed of light. We're talking motion. Motion is a requirement, necessity, and a separating of collective energy contained within a motionless cold void, such as nu, the primary ocean, enough dark energy, the cosmological constant, oblivion. So we keep things so cosmic that most people can't keep up in the classroom. I try to make it as slow as I can, but we don't need no more stupid people. We don't need no more a new generation of people who can't think cosmic. You want to be a Shemsuru or you want to be a Shemsu set? Our classes, we have a classroom with enough people in Zoom. We have 500 spaces on Zoom, and we only got 10 in the class right now. We got two more coming in. It's coming in slow, but all we want is the Shemsuru. We're not looking for no prisoners. We're looking for converts. We're not taking no prisoners because we ain't feeding you. You know how much it costs to feed a prisoner? We're not feeding you. We're only taking over the Shemsuru. Got the Guardians of the Ankh. I see this Facebook page, the Guardians of the Ankh. Everybody's talking about you don't even know that the Ankh does not mean life. Do not let anybody tell you that Ankh means life. It does not mean life. You've been taught by stupid teachers who've been Hellenized and lobotomized. And tell your teacher that I said it, please. The Ankh means being. You must acquire the ability to experience the phenomenon of being. We break this down scientifically, mathematically, with your cultural, cosmic, collective, conscious spirituality. The creator, the all of all. Because energy, because motion is a requirement and separated of the collective energy contained within the motionless cold void. So the creator came out of this primeval ocean of nothingness, which is called nu, which is called the primary ocean of nothingness, which is called dark energy, which is called oblivion. It's called the cosmological constant. These are just schools of thought, but we know it represents the all of all, where everything is, was,
Yeah.
and shall be contained. And for me to express this to you mathematically, I would have to use zero, because it's a prime emotion of nothingness.
Siba,
But
Siba,
with
Siba.
nothing, we see everything, because everything is, was, and shall be is contained. The Greeks see nothing. The
Siba,
Europeans see
Ptah,
the
secret source.
Siba.
Excuse me, Queen Mother. Excuse me, Queen.
Siba Ramatef Quib. You were gonna say?
No. I said Siba. We're gonna pass the mic to Pepper Ptah.
Oh
Yes.
yeah, Siba needs some water. I thought that's what you was gonna ask me to drink is water. Um,
Yeah.
so I'm going to we also again to elaborate on we are not here to get in your pockets and take your money. Yes, this calendar is $25.
You
It
gotta pay.
will be autographed. You will receive a free PDF of the Cosmic Egg. You will receive an MP3 audio to go along to complement your calendar.
Yes, you will.
Also, during these series, these segments, like what you're watching now, we have calendar giveaways. We ask questions during the broadcast, we provide the answer during the broadcast, and then later we present the question. We wait for you to give us the answer, get the answer correct, provide us with your mailing address, your email address, and then we send you the calendar and the 2 free items. So
Yeah,
we have opportunities for you to get your calendar for free.
for
And we've
free.
had a show where somebody got 2 calendars for free. So sharing that, I now want to ask Seba Kepra Ptah because Seba Kepra Ptah has been on my the Memoirs of a Karmic Dynasty platform before, and he presented the presentation on sound. It was longer and more in depth than what you saw today. And I know that people ask for one-on-one sessions with you, Seba Kepra Ptah, in regards to sound and some other subject matters that you're an expert of. You are a teacher, Seba. How much are those sessions with you, Seba Kepra Ptah?
Thank you for asking, Sba-t. What I do, and because I'm just acclimating myself also to a new method. So I, like Ramatef Kweb, I would also ask for a donation because what I will do for the person is I will give this person a reading. I also do divination, and I will see which sound best fits with that person. So it is important to understand that each and every one of us have our own sound, just like your own name. So that sound in so many ways is like your name. And when we look into what has been labeled by some Egyptologists or Egyptologists as the chapters of knowing the creation of Ra and the overthrowing of Apep, or should I say, the chapters of expansion and overcoming contraction. We're talking about the Supreme Being declaring its name as a word of power. Well, you have your own name, but you have to figure out what that name is in that word of power that acclimates you to your destiny. And this is where I would like to contribute in our collective growth.
Do up.
So with
Do
that
up.
being said, I pass the mic to whoever would like to close out.
Well, Seba Kepra Ptah, while we're speaking with you, would you tell everyone who you are and where they can find you? And whatever last words you would like to share with everyone.
Sure. So again, you can reach me at NagaKhan720, NAGAKHAN 720 at gmail.com. If you have any questions, feel free to text me or to email me at any time. And I can also be found on Facebook, and I also have a YouTube page. So for any
Go ahead.
questions you have, and just remember, it's all, or in fact, that was like my closing theme right there. It's about remembering. So we talk about Nebuchadnezzar, who is also Ra Nebuchadnezzar. In the chapter that I mentioned earlier, there's a version where it says that Ra Nebuchadnezzar also, or Nebuchadnezzar declared its name to be Asar, rest. But the thing about that is when you look at the Metanetu, the hieroglyphs that make up that name, you'll see that there is an I that is either above or beneath the throne, representing a consciousness that dwells within matter. We want to deal with the frequency of consciousness in which dwells within your physical form, and how you will align with your destiny, and how will you bring your pieces back together. In other words, remember who you are. That's what it's about. Remembering, bringing back the pieces of Ra, bringing back the pieces of Osiris, and bringing back that connection with those who are our ancestors and those who are our descendants. And it all has to do with time. The Hellenistic aspect of it, they call it chronos. It deals with chronology. But their aspect of time deals with a being that eats its young and went into battle with the gods. That is not the type of time in which we're talking about keeping. We're talking about time that allows you to expand and go beyond the limitations of physical form and into the higher aspects of creativity, where you're able to tune into that frequency and be the vehicle of higher ideas so that we can build that civilization that astonished the world as predicted.
Dua, dua, dua.
Dua. Sba Ramutef Queb, share with everyone who you are, where they can find you, and your words you want to share before we leave. Dua.
Anuk Ramutef Queb. I'm Ramutef Queb. You can find me on Facebook as Ramutef Queb. You can find me on Instagram as Ramutef_Queb. My closing statement is understand time in all aspects of your life. Seek what you need to seek and be one with the cosmos.
Dua. Sba, Ptah, Seeker Asar. Tell everyone who you are, where they can find you, and your words you want to leave them with.
Anuk Ptah Sikasa. I am the royal scribe, master craftsman, and keeper of Tep Time of Teshepara and the Naga Ship Association and the Nagatian Institute. And my closing comments will be in the words of our paternal father, Asar Unefa Kentiamenti, as he would always say in the pyramid text, that within the whole of the universe, nothing is ever added and nothing is ever lost. This has been Precious Treasure Series number 10. See you for number 11. Atura Hotel.
Dua. Sba, Kepra Ptah, Sba Ramutef Queb, Sba Ptah Seeker Asar, and to all Sebas and Sba-ts that have joined with us today for the Precious Treasure Immortality Series segment 10. And we will see you all next time. Dua. Anuk Ast Maat Anuk. Anuk means I am. That's the last thing I'm going to share and teach today. Anuk means I am. Anuk Ast Ma'at Tefnut. Atumra.